Sunrise today at Charlotte Motor Speedway meant fans gathering for a summit meeting.
Down to the flag comes Terry Labonte.
1 year ago, Terry Labonte won the 500, went on to capture the Winston Cup championship. Now all eyes are on the kid, Jeff Gordon, returning to the track where he captured his first Winston Cup victory.
Checkers are out, and they are down, and it is Jeff Gordon victorious.
$1 Million Jeff began racing at 5. 21 years later, he's going for his 30th win, second title. Hold on, Jeff, to the names Martin and Jarrett. Ring a bell. Two veterans charging for a shot at their first championship.
We're going to make our best effort. We're going to make the best out of winning it, or make the best out of wherever we wind up.
And today, a big piece of the puzzle falls into place. It's the UAW-GM Quality 500. 140,000 gathering at the Mecca of American stock car racing, the Charlotte Motor Speedway, for 334 laps. NASCAR Winston Cup competition. The UAW-GM 500 for $1.7 million live today on TBS. So many exciting stories here this afternoon, including this one, of course, number 24, Jeff Gordon. Standing by with him now, Alan Bestwick.
Thank you, Ken. 1 year ago, Jeff Gordon came into this race with a 110-point lead. He left with a 1-point lead. He's the most recent race winner at Charlotte, but has not had very good luck here the last 3 years in October. How confident are you that you can change that October luck today and protect that point lead?
Well, you know, all we can do is just keep coming back here and working real hard. And that's what we've done this time. Car feels great. You know, we're going to go out there and do our best that we know how, and do what we've been doing all year long, and hope that it all comes together for us and get some of this bad luck out of the way here at Charlotte.
Jeff had a great car in yesterday's final practice. He starts fourth today. Now with the story of the man chasing him for the championship, here's Steve Burns.
Alan, Mark Martin trails Jeff Gordon by 135 points. Mark has never won the Winston Cup title. He badly wants to do so. He's won this race twice. Mark, your thoughts as you're about to start this race today?
Well, we were disappointed in happy hour yesterday, but we've had an awesome race car on Wednesday and Thursday of this week. We believe if we get this thing tuned in for this sun and this hot weather, we'll be okay. But, you know, we've got a lot of adjustment left in the car, so hopefully we'll be able to get this thing going as good as it was on Thursday. And we're just going to give it our best shot. I want to thank all the race fans for, you know, all their overwhelming support on this Winston Cup title chase, and hopefully we can gain some points today.
Okay, best of luck. Let's check in now with Randy Pemberton.
1996 NASCAR Winston Cup champion Terry Labonte has had his 97 season come apart at the seams. 10 races ago, he was a 3-point leader in the chase for the Winston Cup championship. Now he is 622 points behind in 6th. The last 4 races, no better than 17th. Last weekend, his crew chief, Gary Dehart, resigned for personal reasons. He'll stay back at the shop. Here, they have struggled at Charlotte. He will start from the 43rd, the championship provisional. Would I count them out? Not necessarily. They've worked hard on this race car. We'll watch them try to go to the front. Now to the 4th member of our broadcast team on pit road today, Mike Hogwood. Mike.
Thanks, Randy. It has been 54 races since Dale Earnhardt has made it to victory lane. But the last 3 weeks, he's been in the top 10. The last 2 races, he has finished second. Both Earnhardt and his crew feel today is the day that they get back into the winner's circle. They start 19th, but they feel they're going to the front and in a hurry. Ken?
It has been a grim year for the man on the pole, but my, how it has turned around for this man in number 7, Jeff Bodine. Back on Wednesday night, Jeff Bodine flew around this racetrack at an average speed of 184.256 miles per hour. And he was flying in victory lane. He'll be flying today from the pole in this great event. Hello, everybody, with Buddy Baker, Ken Squire. Looking forward to bringing you this UAW-GM 500. Buddy, back in 1967, some kid from Charlotte, North Carolina came out here, tore him up, beat the great Bobby Isaac, beat Iowa's Dick Hutcherson. Name was Baker. How does it feel to come back to home ground?
Charlotte is so special, but you know, it's my home track. It was very special. I won my first major speedway race here at Charlotte, but all these guys out here, hey, this is home track for most of these guys. They're looking forward to it today.
It looks like asphalt this 1.5 miles, but let me tell you, it works just about like a greased pole at the country fair. Pretty hard to get a handle on it, buddy.
Well, there's a lot of racing on this track already this week. They had qualifying on Wednesday night, a 300-miler yesterday. You know, it's really got so much running on it already that it's very, very slick. You know, I talked to Mark Martin earlier today, and I said, let me ask you a little bit about how you plan to run today. He said, you know, I don't worry about motors. I turn 9100 down the straightaway here. Jack Roush, you can't blow his motors up. We're going to run as hard as we can run. Then I went to Jeff Gordon. I said, how about you? You have a 135-point lead in the point. How do you plan to run this race today? And, you know, Ray Evernham come right over his shoulder and said, we're going to run the same way we got here. We're going to win. If you win, you get the most points, and that's all you have to do to win a championship.
And look out for Earnhardt today. We're down to it. Everybody having a great time here at Charlotte. A lot of festivity in the infield. Bruton Smith has given the command to fire them up. We're ready to go racing.
The UAW-GM Quality 500 on TBS is brought to you by Budweiser Beechwood Aged for a crisp, clean, classic taste. By Mobile Motor Oil, changing oil for over 125 years. By Prestone Antifreeze, protect your car in the Prestone Zone. By AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by the UAW International Union and General Motors Corporation. Assembly line to finish line. Teamwork wins.
The UAW-GM 500. It's drawn the multitudes here to this famed old track, the Charlotte Motor Speedway, on this beautiful day. Never looking better. 143,000 in attendance to honor the greatest race drivers in the business, the most competitive fields there are, the stars of the Winston Cup. The weather today, you couldn't ask for better. What a great day to go racing. Temperatures at 76. Humidity 49. Just a little bit of a breeze. Nothing to bother. Sunny. Well, that could be a factor today. This track is going to get sloppy and slippery and difficult to handle for even the very best. Down pit road they come. 43 strong. The best there are. A look at the Econo Lodge starting grid. The 18th different man to sit on the pole this year, a modern-day record. That's Jeff Bodine from Chemung, New York, the Ford Thunderbird number 7, and Bobby Labonte, last year's pole sitter, alongside. Row 2, two-time winner of this event, Mark Martin, and the current point leader, Jeff Gordon, is there. Row 3, Earnhardt's back. The swagger is in his walk. This could be his day. And alongside 55-year-old Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin giant Dick Trickle. For row 4, Ward Burton and Jeff Purvis. For row 5, Jimmy Spencer and Morgan Shepherd. In row 6, it's Ken Schrader from Missouri, and from the state of Vermont, Kevin LePage. Row 7, Derek Kopus, Spanaway, Washington, and Ted Musgrave. Row 8, Johnny Benson Jr. and Wally Dallenbach Jr. Row 9 is Steve Grissom, the pride of Alabama, and Brett Bodine. Row 10 is the man, the 80 and 86 winner of this event, Earnhardt, and Jeff Green. Row 11 is Sterling Marlin, and there's Ricky Rudd alongside. Row 12, John Andretti, the winner at Daytona back in July, and Joe Nemechek. Row 13, Rusty Wallace. He won this event in '88, and Kenny Wallace. Row 14, David Green, Robert Presley. The 15th row is Jeff Burton, who won his 3rd race last week on the half mile at Martinsville, Virginia, and Michael Waltrip flanks him. Row 16, Chad Little, Lake Speed. Row 17, Bill Elliott is there, the 84 and 87 winner, and Rick Wilson. Row 18 is Ernie Irvin, the 93 winner of this event, and Todd Bodine. Row 19, Hutch Strickland, Gary Bradbury. Row 20, Jeremy Mayfield and Kyle Petty, who won the 600 here in May of '87. Then you come to row 21, provisionals, Bobby Hamilton and Ricky Craven from Maine. Back in that 22nd row, the 22nd row, the 43rd position, the defending Winston Cup champion, Texas Terry Labonte. And here are those that failed to qualify for this field. Marcus, young Steve Clark, Elliott Sadler, Rick Mast, Greg Sachs, Mike Skinner. And for the first time in 25 years, Darrell Waltrip not in this starting field. This was Darrell walking away with Stevie the other day. They say the longest walk in racing is after you crash. No, indeed. This is the longest walk, and it happens to every champion sooner or later. One lap, and we will be racing at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Hosted awards today, $1.718 million on your AutoZone race analysis. 334 laps, 500 miles the distance. And that record set in '93 by Ernie Irvan at 154.5. Doubtful they're going to break it. We think they're going to break a lot of cars on these concrete barriers before this day is done. In cars for today's race, you're riding with Mark Martin starting third, right in front of him, the pole sitter, Bodine. Here is Jeff Bodine right in behind the pace car. Brings that Econo Lodge QBC Ford up to speed. Here's Kenny Wallace starting back there in that 26th position. Got Bobby Labonte giving you these pictures. He's outside of the front row. Todd Bodine well back in the field. Give you what happens back there if we have trouble on this start. And Jeff Burton, what a story. Jeff Burton has been 3 wins this year. He starts 29th today. But my, didn't he look grand a week ago. Up on the 18-degree bank, settling down. Seat belts are synced. We're ready to go racing.
That's a 24-degree bank turn right there. But I'll tell you what it is. It feels flat when you're running 200 miles an hour down the straightaway into the corners.
Field up to wave them off. The crowd just ready to see this start. Here we are coming to the line. Bodine brings them down. Beautiful start.
Oh, we have trouble on the front straightaway before the green even gets out.
Hutch Strickland is around, and so is Ernie Irvan. Right on the start. Somebody had trouble up through the gears. They're clearing. They're away, and the race is on. Caution is out. Yellow coming down, racing back to the line. It's Bodine hustling on the inside to make sure he's still going to start up front. Lap complete, Bodine first, Labonte second, and then Mark Martin right there in third spot. Gordon in fourth. And they blow him at the end of one. A look-see at what happened. Happens back around Strickland and the car directly behind him. I wouldn't be surprised if that was Jeremy Mayfield that got a piece of that. His front end may be docked.
What happens there is you anticipate the start when you're that far back, and everybody's expecting them to accelerate, and they start accelerating as they start off turn 4. The front group did not go until they got right at the flag. So when they got there, they were running like 70, 80 miles an hour, and everybody else was still running 45.
Here's the 28, Ernie Irvan. He wanted to change cars yesterday. They had an ignition fire. They tried to change cars. NASCAR said that was not enough of a reason to change in that last hour of practice yesterday. So that's the car in which they qualified. We'll take a quick break and return to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Trouble on the start. We're back with you live at Charlotte, North Carolina, and let's review what happened at the outset of this event, coming down to the flag.
Okay, as you can see, Michael Waltrip has already anticipated the start there, and that gets everybody over on the left-hand side there really going at it. As you can see right here, they make contact. Bill Elliott started to go. He realized that the race hadn't started yet. He put on brakes, and everybody else started stacking up behind him. Jeremy Mayfield in 37 got in the back of Hutch Strickland. Strickland got into the 28, and that was the whole part there.
Back to green. Working the 4th lap. Sorting them out, going down into turn number 1. And there you see the number 90 of Dick Trickle up on the outside of Jeff Gordon. Doing for the lead. Down into the corner. Here comes Bobby Labonte in Joe Gibbs' number 18 making a run.
Everybody has said, keep your eye on the Pontiac here. They have good downforce. The racetrack is slick. You can see already Bobby Labonte has made his presence known.
Bobby Labonte scoots out in front. Pole sitter a year ago out in front as we work through the 5th lap, now into the 6th lap. Drawing away just a bit. Mark Martin deploys third as they go down the backstretch.
You know, a car that's really moved back in the pack is Jeff Gordon. He has really dropped back. He started out right up front, and he's moved all the way back, I guess, into about 10th position. You see Jimmy Spencer going by. Dick Trickle just in front of him there.
Down on the inside, you see Jeff Purvis in the 12. That's that white red numeral car. And Jeff Purvis had a great qualifying run in his 3rd start of the year for the Tennessee veteran. He qualified in 8th position. Great run for Purvis. See if it's going to hang in there and stand up. Bobby Labonte, the surprise at the start as he begins to roll it out. Meanwhile, here's Mark Martin down to the inside on Jeff Woodine for 2nd spot.
If you want to see a race car really work in the corner, you watch the 6th car of Martin as he goes through there. Right on the bottom of the racetrack, you looking back at Jeff Woodine as they go off the corner. Mark Martin also just behind this group is Dale Jarrett. He's just behind him. That's the car you see sticking his nose out on the right-hand side there. All 3 of these cars. Look at them right on the white line through 3 and 4.
Jarrett back and forth in the number 88. Runs this track so well. Won in a Grand National race at the end of the 80s. And that was really his inauguration in the big superspeedway racing. And he's looking great this year, fighting for the Winston Cup title. The number 88, Dale Jarrett, tucked right in there and making the go of it at the present time. Holding out a 4th spot. And closing, taking it outside, as he rides so well here.
You know, Ken, we talked about this yesterday. Jimmy Spencer won the Busch Grand National race by running the high line. He set his car up to run up high, but right now it looks like Dale Jarrett can run either high or low.
Woodine really likes to hug that inside, as does Mark Martin. In the number 6, currently in 2nd, and Bobby Labonte in that Pontiac. He scored his first career win here at Charlotte a couple of years back, is flying. He won here 2 years ago, 7 the pole last year, and the Joe Gibbs Racing team now has an advantage of 1 7/10 seconds.
That sounds like a lot, but one little wiggle on the racetrack and everybody's caught up.
10 laps are complete of 334. Let's get an update on one of those cars that was in that altercation at the start. Jeremy Mayfield.
Jeremy Mayfield, thank you, Ken. Jeremy's got left front corner damage. They went ahead and cut some sheet metal. They're going to get ready to paste it on there. They're working the sheet metal. Other cars that hit pit road this end got a few tires. Jeremy was 1. He got 4. Ernie Irvin had right rear end damage. They got 4 tires. Hud Strickland was in for 4. And Kyle Petty came down pit road to check and see if he flat spotted his tires. He did not. He went right back out.
Woodine was way at the tail end with Mayfield. They're 41st and 42nd on the field. Back with the leaders another time.
Well, as you see, as going down in the corner there, that the 7 car, you're looking out of the back of Bodine's car. Jarrett is trying every way in the world to get by him right now because Mark Martin has opened up about a 15-car left lead. And as you said, Bobby Labonte has moved off to real close to 2 seconds now. Lead over everybody, so everybody better get in gear here. Bobby Labonte will lap the field if they don't get really after him here.
Yeah, but you don't want to get suckered into chasing the rabbit this early, do you?
Oh, yeah. Listen, anymore, every lap is the last lap.
Well, he's certainly building on it. It's over 2 seconds between Bobby Labonte and Mark Martin up in front. Battle for third. Here it comes. Dale Jarrett down the inside. Jeff Woodine up high. Jarrett taking the inside move, and he's got it covered. Alan Bestwick can tell us more about that number 24 that seems to be sliding back.
No, he's coming forward now. He's all the way back up.
But Ken, Jeff just didn't get a good restart when we went back racing. He lost a spot to Dale Jarrett right on the drop of the green flag. He lost another position trying to get his momentum built up. But as Buddy said a minute ago, he's starting to pick his way back toward the front. Nothing wrong with the car at all. And he'll get back up there before too long.
He is in 6th at the present time. running just in front of Ward Burton in the 22. Now with that move around the 22, that'll put him up to 5th as he comes to the stripe. And the Durashine aerial platform looking at Gordon. Fell back to 10th, now back to 5th. Jeff Bodine seemed happy to hold on to the 88, try to draft his way back up and collect those 2 leaders. As they run now, it's 2 2/10 seconds between Bobby Labonte in front and Mark Martin in second. Then 4 seconds. Another 2-second separation back to Jarrett running with Bodine.
Again, there's a guy on the move just behind this group right here, and you know who he is, Mr. Excitement. Jimmy Spencer's moved right up here. He's just behind, let's see, he's in 7th spot now, so Jimmy's on the move. Yesterday, he was unbeatable. Mark Martin really tried everything to get by him. Jimmy Spencer won a very exciting race. He runs well here at Charlotte. Look for him to be up front all day.
And he's pulled around him now. He continues to climb up through the numbers. Spencer won a dramatic race with Mark Martin side by side. And here's the man everybody's talking about all week, Earnhardt, now to 10th position. He started 19th. Earnhardt closing on Dick Trickle in the Jimmy Donlevy, the number 90. That's how he's moved up and how fast he's done it.
You know, he's had a little giddy up in his step all week and a little twitch in his eye. Every time you talk to him, he says, I'm back. I have a chance to win this weekend. I'm going for it.
Somebody said this morning, I'm going with Earnhardt to win this one. The swagger is back. Here he is, just in front of Morgan Shepherd in the number 1. This is the man leading. Bobby Labonte out of Corpus Christi, Texas, has the advantage by 2 6/10 seconds. They're up and cheering. Gordon's making his move. We follow the storyline. Jeff Gordon, 135-point lead over Martin coming into this race, and he is storming through the field. He's just blown by Jarrett. He's just put Bodine away, and he continues to close up in the 3rd spot and try to run down those leaders then at the present time. We are showing 22 laps complete. Chevrolet was given another 1/4 inch on the spoiler. 6 inches on the blade in the back of that car. And as these cars lighten up on fuel, it looks like that Chevy's beginning to go.
What I'm looking at right now is Jeff Gordon nailed to the racetrack. He passed Bodine just a second ago on the outside going into the corner. That is where downforce on the race car. And what that means is the air going over the top of the car is pushing down on the trunk lid, adding maybe 400 or 500 pounds of downforce on the rear tires, letting them get a lot better grip in the corner.
Here's that Gordon, number 24, and there's the Bodine Ford that's set on the pole at 184 miles an hour plus. Meanwhile, here's Earnhardt in the number 3, and he's still having a dickens of a time getting around Dick Trickle. 9th and 10th, respectively, there. Earnhardt, 2 second places in a row, knocking on the door. Confidence level really up this morning as you walk through the garage area. That whole team looked like the cat that swallowed the canary.
You know, somebody must have made Bobby Labonte mad before this race started. I guarantee you he's checked out. He's in another area code from anybody else. Right now, he's going into turn 3. Mark Martin is at the center part of the back straightaway. He has a huge lead right at the moment.
How about 4 seconds? That's the difference between Labonte at the stripe. And Mark Martin closing up.
Well, we'll just watch people that are racing each other because Bobby Labonte's taking care of business out front, but these guys are still having a war back here for position. As you see, Dale Jarrett there really putting the heat on Bodine, still trying to get by. Made a pass a while ago, slipped a little bit. Bodine got back by him and has not been able to take that spot back from him.
Look at the grill on Bobby Labonte, huh?
Well, that's good downforce, but you also have very little opening on the front of these cars for air to get to the radiator, so hopefully that won't give him a problem. I'm sure he's watching the gauges, and the spotters probably already spotted it on the front of the car and said, okay, keep your eye on the water temperature. If it goes way up, we'll have to do something about it. As long as it runs cool, that's not a problem. It's actually the way you block off the car to qualify. You put stuff over the front so it makes it quicker. But boy, that's a lot of area there covered up.
And he picked that up, didn't he?
I guarantee you he picked it up. And
somebody hot dog wrapped.
He certainly wouldn't have put that on there to start the race.
The number 5 car out here trying to make an impression in this 500. There it is. Terry Labonte from dead last, and Randy can tell us more.
I tell you, we talked about how this team has worked this weekend and how they've struggled really in the last 10 races. They've all got smiles on right now. He has gone from 43rd and is creeping inside the top 20 with a pass on the 4 car. Randy Dorton, the acting crew chief down here, has worked on notes. They've made phone conversations with Terry last night. These guys are coming around. I told you not to count them out. And I'll tell you what, he's really putting the wood to him right now. Coming up rather nicely.
Sure is, up into 20th as he rolls around the Sterling Marlin number 4. Bobby Labonte in front. There may be a trace, just a trace, a telltale of smoke, or maybe some leakage coming out, according to scanner reports on Bobby Labonte, that lead car. Meanwhile, you're watching Terry back here as he drifts up through the field. Continues to be the 4th place battle. Bodine and Jarrett. You see them moving to lock onto each other and see if they can climb up in here. Make any impression on that Pontiac that continues to blow them off. And you've got a Ford in 2nd, and you've got the Chevy of Jeff Gordon in 3rd. Dale going up to the outside. A few more Archons up there. Whistle down through this main straightaway area into the fastest portion of the track down here at turn 1.
You know, right now the guys are really evaluating what the cars are doing out there and talking with the crew chiefs about things that they want to change, because all day long this racetrack will get hotter, slicker, and when they make their first pit stop, cars that are back in the field right now, all of a sudden with the right improvements on it, will be flying around here. But look at Bobby Labonte go.
Leading now by 6 seconds. And there is a story developing. Steve Burns has it.
Well, Ken, just to back up what Buddy Baker just said, one of the reasons Bobby Labonte will be a favorite today is tires. Now, there are 2 kinds of tires. Stickers, which are brand new, and scuffs, which have a few laps on them. A Goodyear tire engineer told me this morning that Bobby Labonte is an absolute master at working on tires. He will run a few laps on a set of tires, maybe as few as 2. He might run one corner a little bit harder than the other. He'll get those tires the way he wants them and then take them off. If he feels one tire isn't right in a set, he won't go with that set of tires. An absolute master at feeling how a tire relates to the racetrack.
Well, he learned from the master because no one was better in tire tests for years than his brother Terry Labonte. And I think that's a family tradition.
Terry has so much discipline in a race car that I'm sure he passed it on to his brother. He said, okay, here's the things you need to feel in a race car. Now take my car out and see what a good car feels like, and you have something to look for when you go back testing.
34 laps, 51 miles have been completed in the UAW-GM 500. Bobby Labonte is smoking them off here in the early going. 6. Back with you live at 38 laps into the 334 that make the distance of 500 miles. In your race summary, 2 lead changes thus far. Cole and then this guy. This guy who now has a clean grill, whatever it was, that little piece of paper, and covered up part of the air induction system on that Pontiac. It's gone away. But the problem may not have gone away. Let's get out to Steve Burns. Steve, what did you learn down there from that pit crew about how that thing is running?
Again, I just spoke with Mark Cronquist, who's the assistant engine builder on the 18 of Bobby Labonte, and he said the water temperatures are okay. The oil temperature has gone up about 20 degrees. He said should not be a problem, but they are a little bit concerned.
Well, there you have the latest on Bobby Labonte. Everyone's concerned he might have been building up some heat. Now take a look right here. Here's the 99, Jeff Burton, and he is on a run. He's under Earnhardt, setting Earnhardt back again. And after starting 29th, he is up to 8th in this shuffle. Jeff Burton now into the 8th position as he slices underneath Earnhardt and continues a roll toward the front from 29th starting berth. And there are the moves thus far.
That's the premier song he's doing right there. Every week we see the 99 of Jeff Burton start off just a little bit slow. As the race goes, he gets tougher and tougher as he goes. And Buddy Parrott is a master of setting that car up to get good side bite in the corners. Look to him. If we have a caution, he gets back up there, and he'll make them all earn their money today.
Morgan Shepherd up on the high side in the 1. Dick Trickle right there in the 90. As they close in a little on number 3, and here comes Dick Trickle down on the bottom. Involved in a hard crash yesterday down in turn 1 in the Grand National race. They cut a tire down, and he really slammed the wall. There's Derek Cope getting into it. Derek off with a new team next year, and Steve Levitt, who helped turn that Allison team around briefly a year ago, is going with him. A very good fabricator. Builds very good equipment. They could be formidable a year from now. Looking pretty good right now is Derek Cope. Cope being shown in the 11th position. 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Right here, Ricky Rudd moving along nicely. He's up in that 12th position, the number 10. I want to welcome you to Charlotte, North Carolina. Hope we have a lot of new viewers enjoying today's race. Yesterday's race was simply sensational. Jimmy Spencer and Mark Martin gave lessons 101 in running side by side, wide open. And there's Jimmy Spencer now closing in on the number 7. That would be a battle for 5th. Bodine is there, and Spencer trying to take it away.
Spencer right now is just working them over. Right now you can see his car is still able to run on the bottom of the racetrack. I was watching several of the cars lap back. They're beginning the rim ride. That means the cars are probably very, very loose, or they have a handling problem that won't let them go to the bottom like Jimmy Spencer is able to do in that 23 there.
Window, buddy, on this one. Who should we see them if they stay green? We had that one caution. If you just joined us just at the start, on the start, we had 3 cars bouncing off each other. Mike Hogwood on that 46 car.
Wally Dallenbach on pit road. They've got the hood up on the car. There is some problem with the engine. They feel it's in the carburetor. Wally says it is just not running. They are putting the pins in the hood, and they look like they're going to send him back out, but it is not running under full song right now.
That doesn't sound good for Wally Dallenbach Jr. So here you have Bodine, pole sitter, chased by Spencer, winner a day ago. 5th, the issue here. Jeff Burton is just behind them in 7th. And you have Earnhardt 8th. Morgan Shepherd is in 9th. Derek Cope currently 10th. And Rudd has moved up into 11th. Johnny Benson has come to 12th. Steve Grissom 13th and Trickle back to 14th. He slipped a little.
Here goes Spencer. He said, hey, I am not catching Bodine. I'm going to go up there and see what the racetrack's better up on the high side. He took Bodine's line and moved right in on the quarter panel there.
Right back down to the bottom. That Travis Carter car seems to work any place he wants to put it, buddy.
Well, you have to have a lot of discipline. When the racetrack gets real slick like this, driving it off in the corner too hard, gaining 5 or 6 car lengths, getting in the corner can only create a problem. You can't get back in the throttle in the middle of the corner.
Let's go to Randy and an update with Randy Pemberton on that 28 car.
Well, Ernie Irvin has struggled all weekend. Yesterday in practice, the 28 Haviland Ford in the final happy hour practice caught fire. They tried to put it out, damaged a lot of the electrical components. They tried to roll a backup car off. NASCAR said it wasn't worthy of that, so they had to fix the car that they have, and they've got it back out on the racetrack today. Unfortunately, he is struggling badly. He is already a lap down, just a mere 50 laps into this race. I talked to his co-crew chiefs. They said there really isn't a whole lot they can do with it. They'll try and work on it, but Ernie Irvin is struggling here today.
Back in 31st position, and you can see the aerodynamics. They've been busted up there. whole rear deck was torn up. That video you saw was from Happy Hour yesterday. A chagrined Robert Yates, not very happy with that NASCAR call that said they could not bring the second car out. That fire was not serious enough in the ignition system, and to roll the car in which they qualified today. 31st present time. And again, that car was bunted, drop kick on the start. One of 4 involved in that altercation just as they came to the line to take green. 50 laps are now complete. 75 miles are down. 334 the distance in the UAW-GM 500. Bobby Labonte making mincemeat. Well, there you see Eric Stadium here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Site Monday night of that game with San Francisco for the Charlotte organization. Tonight, NFL on TNT, NFC Clash. Ditka returns to Chicago, this time with the New Orleans Saints. Up in the Windy City to take on the Bears. Kickoff, 8 o'clock tonight on TNT. Charlotte Motor Speedway, and here he comes. Just rolling them over. Bobby Labonte.
I tell you what, right now, Bobby Labonte, when he guessed on this setup, he hit it directly on what it takes. He's got Rusty Wallace already a lap down. This car is just mowing them down. He takes no time passing. You can see Michael Waltrip on the outside there. He'll be 3 car lengths ahead of him. Watch them when they go down the straightaway here. Basically the same. They run about the same speed down the straightaway. When they hit the corner, Bobby Labonte's car is a rocket ship. Watch this right here. You talk about putting distance on people.
That's knocking off a 25th position car. Only 1 caution just at the start, and since then, we're up to 57 laps completed, showing 85.5 miles. Next 10 laps, you may see some guys ducking onto pit road. Rusty got a lap down early here in May, and he stormed back, and he finished in 2nd place in that event. In fact, we're beginning to see some cars in now. Dick Trickle just coming onto pit road.
As a general rule, when you go a lap down, you'll come in and adjust on the car, get fresh tires, and try to make some of the deficit up on a car like this. You see Bobby Labonte going down here. That's Kyle Petty just in front of him. He was the quickest in practice yesterday.
Alan Bestwick.
Dick Trickle's car was out of gas when he came in 58 laps into the event. It stalled for a minute. As soon as they began dumping fuel into it, he fired back up. 4 tires down and away for the Heilig-Myers team.
87 miles and out of fuel, and Wally Gollenbach out of luck. He's back behind the wall. He'll be a retiree at first. Wally Gollenbach back to just to the left of victory lane, working on the car, and I think he may have shut it down for the day. Here's Kyle Petty's number 44, buddy. He's right up in 22nd position.
Yesterday, he was the quickest guy by computer on the racetrack, and you can see Bobby Labonte is just mowing him down as they head down into turn 1. He passes down through the dog legs. Well, watch when they get in the corner. This is where that car is awesome. Look at him just pull 2, 3 car lengths in 1 corner.
Watching Kenny Wallace on pit road. Nemechek has also pitted, as well as Brett Bodine. This all happening at lap 60. Well, Bobby Labonte is certainly having it his way early in the going. I don't know what game Joe Gibbs is watching today, but I'll bet you he's got a monitor and he's looking at this thing and having his fingers crossed.
Now, just like I was telling you, Kyle Petty come in. Here comes Rusty Wallace down the pit road. Once you get a lap down, you better get in there and make your stops, even though the leader's still out there. You come in, get fresh tires, you get 2 or 3 laps advantage back, and it really helps.
So far, narrow your caution. Here's Allen.
Rusty Wallace said his car was just all over the racetrack. Both ends of the car skating all over the place. That's why he got a lap down a little while ago. 4 tires for the Miller Lite Ford. Rusty Wallace is down and away.
We've got a crash, not a crash, but a spin down here on pit road. Bobby Hamilton going all the way.
What he done, he come in, he's got the first pit there. He come in too hard and overshot the pit, locked the brakes up. It's spun right in front. It's Jeff Gordon comes down pit road.
Hamilton finally gets righted and comes to a halt as Gordon comes in. Bradbury also pitting now. See who else is in here.
You asked me what the fuel window was a while ago. It looks like around 62 to 65, yes.
Alan Bestwick.
Jeff Gordon is in. The Rainbow Warriors going to work. Right side tires already done. So far, a very smooth stop. Topping off the gasoline tank now. Left side tires going on Gordon's Chevrolet. Everybody down and away. No problems at all. Gordon's headed back onto the racetrack. 63 laps now into the race.
20.1 seconds. And there is a 15-second penalty on Bobby Hamilton. After that wild melee when he stopped up here at the very top of pit road. He is the 43rd space. The number 1 space going into turn 1 is Jeff Bodine.
Bill Elliott comes into pits. Everybody's beginning to leak into the pits here. You can see the 22 of Wartburton. I wouldn't know right now. It looked like Bobby Labonte is running so effortless, but I'm sure he's getting within 4 or 5 laps of stopping.
Randy Pemberton.
Well, Terry Labonte came in, took on 4 tires, no adjustments, likes the race car. He's back out.
Earnhardt on pit road. Elliott back out here, trying to retrieve some distance. Jeff Gordon. We may get a penalty here. Too fast on the exit. Hey, let's get back on pit road and see what that's all about. Alan Bestwick.
The NASCAR official is standing in Jeff Gordon's pit. The signboard is out. He is going to have to come back down pit road, which he is doing right now. He will have to stop completely in his pit, go back on the racetrack. Tremendously costly for Jeff Gordon. Here he comes, the NASCAR Winston Cup Championship leader rolling to a stop right now. Keeps the engine revved up, gets the signal to go. And the penalty is assessed to Jeff Gordon. He heads back onto the racetrack.
Meanwhile, the 18, that Pontiac gets it flowed. And onto pit road comes your leader. Here's Steve Burns.
Hey, Ken, and actually Joe Gibbs is down here in the pits watching Jimmy Makar's crew come to the attention of Bobby Labonte. They are not making any chassis adjustments. That shouldn't be surprised the way this car is running. Mark Martin is also due here momentarily. 4 tires, no chassis adjustment. Bobby Labonte is gone. 19.1 seconds.
At lap 66, leader is in. Mark Martin now pitting. He had been second, briefly held the lead. As we saw that 19-second pit stop, and Steve Burns awaits Mark Martin. Steve?
I talked to Jimmy Fennick just moments ago, Mark Martin's crew chief. He said they weren't going to make a slight adjustment to try and tighten the car up. Mark's been complaining that the car was loose a little bit. Right side tires on as the jackman comes around for Jimmy Fennick's team. And again, going to try and tighten the car up. They might take some tape off the front of the grill. 18.1 seconds.
Nice stop. Nice work by Jimmy Fennick and that team for Mark Martin to get him back out here. Bodine's number 7, yet to pit.
Well, he's stretching it out there, and you never know, it may pay off later on to do that.
Here's the 12 car of Jeff Purvis that had qualified in 8th. Great run for him. Jeff Purvis had briefly inherited first place. Ernie Irvin in and out again.
You know, a lot of people always, you know, they say, how do they know when they're speeding on pit lane? There's white lines down the whole pit lane here. They're spaced just exactly the same all the way from where you come in the pit road to where you go out. They can time you in between white lines, and if you get there too quick, they know you're speeding. So that's how they catch you. You see the white lines there? That's how they do it.
Randy Pemberton can tell us more about that.
Well, one other thing they do, guys, is during the pace laps, they will break the field up into 2 divisions. Top 25 guys say, and then the rest of the field. And as they're running around out there, they will keep the pace car at a certain speed, the same speed that would be pit road. And the guys that are driving these cars will look at their tachometers. For instance, Terry Labonte read his tach before the race, 4,200 RPMs in second gear. He knows that when he comes down pit road, that's the RPM that he needs to turn, therefore he won't be speeding.
And the driver every once in a while will say, I believe I can get by if I turn 4,800 down through there, and that's the problem.
No problems for Bobby Labonte in that 18. He's in and out and still leading by 6 2/10 seconds over Mark Martin in second, and then you have Dale Jarrett running third. 99. That's Jeff Burton in 4th. Jimmy Spencer 5th. Jeff Bodine 6th. Earnhardt is 7th. Terry Labonte is up to 8th and 43rd, followed by Schrader and Rudd. NASCAR Winston Cup Series comes to the Charlotte Motor Speedway on TBS. Jeff Gordon a lap and 3 seconds behind the leader, Bobby Labonte, after a stop-and-go penalty here. Here's the man that's out in front. Bobby Labonte has a 5 9/10 second advantage. Hey, let's take an STP pit roundup. Collect what happened in this first series of green flag stops along pit road.
Ken, obviously the big story on the first stop was the penalty to Jeff Gordon. A stop-and-go penalty has put him a lap behind race leader Bobby Labonte, plus another 4 seconds, back in 24th position. So Gordon needs to get by Labonte, hope for a caution comes out so he can come back around and get the thick of it again for the win. Let's go to Mike Hogwood.
Dale Earnhardt had a good pit stop, but he was complaining about handling, complaining that the car was too tight on the racetrack. Well, they loosened it up, and Dale has just told his crew that it is too loose. He can barely hang on. They're going to wait till the next round of pit stops and hope that this racetrack can come to him, because he does believe this is his day. Steve Burns.
Mike, Bobby Labonte just radioed crew chief Jimmy Maycar and said they're a little bit loose in the middle of the turns like they were in happy hour practice yesterday. Now, it's very warm today. It seems to be looking at track temperatures. This is a thermometer. Right now, the track temperature is 116 degrees, and we'll follow that during the day. Let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, as we reported earlier, Terry Labonte's progress in this race has been stupendous. He is up to 7th. He radios the crew and tells them the car is absolutely beautiful right now. The other guys down this end of pit road have struggled. Ernie Irvin, Kyle Petty, Jeremy Mayfield, all will have down and struggle on the racetrack. Back upstairs.
Gordon has gone from 24th up to 20th after that stop, that penalty. Taking a look at where they were and where they are.
Boy, that's an interesting thing. Come in first, went out first. Martin come in second, went out second. I know Martin right now is slapping his hands. He's saying, hey, you want to talk about gaining some points. Gordon's a lap down right now. I'm running second. Car looks very good. Mark Martin is gaining on Jeff Gordon as we speak.
Yes, he is. Down to 5.9 now. It was well over 7 seconds between first and second spot. First stop for fuel and tires. Green flag condition here. If you're just joining us on the very start of the race. We had 4 cars in the jam session right at the start-finish line. Since then, they have been flying at a record blistering 156.9 miles an hour, buddy.
Well, you're looking back at the Bobby Labonte's car, and you see Kyle Petty there just a little while ago before he made a few corrections on that chassis before that first pit stop. Kyle Petty could not even run in the same corner with Labonte. Now he's got his car dialed in. He's one of the quicker cars out there. You see him running with Bobby Labonte and looking very, very good.
Well, that leads pop back up to 6 and 5/10 seconds now.
Yeah,
down to 5.7. I guess in traffic he found the hole.
You'll get weary looking at that because Bobby Labonte has such a lead right now. He's being very cautious when he passes cars to lap them. You see him going by Wally Dallenbach on the bottom there, the 46 car. He's putting these guys away. It looks like some of them are just, you know, waiting on him to get there.
And Dallenbach has come back from the garage area. He went all the way in. He did some work on the car. And he's back out, still running in 43rd position, as you saw him there. The leaders, Labonte, Mark Martin, Dale Jarrett, Jeff Burton, the front 4, Jimmy Spencer 5th, Earnhardt to 6th, and Terry Labonte lies in 7th spot.
I just noticed Robert Presley takes the 77 car to the garage area. He must have a problem they don't feel that they can fix because he's headed to the garage area.
Average speed at 157 miles an hour as Bobby Labonte continues to clip this field. Only 13 cars are now left on the lead lap. That's a big advantage that Bobby Labonte has put down.
Yeah, you can see him there. That's Todd Bodine for you guys that hadn't got a chance to see the new car that he's going to race next year. He's right behind Bobby Labonte there in the Tabasco car.
4 lead changes. Cautions, just 1. Very beginning. Took 3 laps to sort it out and get them restarted. And it's been Bobby Labonte since the beginning. 77 laps. The only other leader in the event That number 7 car that's set on the pole, Jeff Bodine. And there he is.
Look at Bobby Labonte right under the pole setter there. Bodine goes a lap down. He just went by Wallace there. That's Kenny Wallace. This car is incredible right now.
13th place car just going a lap down, the pole sitter, Jeff Bodine.
What a shot. You can see every bit of you look at the spring movement as he starts in the corner. The right side is almost dragging the pavement. Pontiac has the most rear spoiler and most front spoiler of any car on the racetrack. And right now, downforce is really paying off for the Pontiac.
Well, we said he was out again. Now he's in again. Now he's out again. Wally Dallenbach back to the garage area another time. And we're watching number 7, the pole sitter. Bodine is also coming on pit road.
Promotional fees and considerations have been paid by Valvoline, Square D, Wix, and you can be a Winston Cup team owner and compete for over $70,000 in cash and prizes by playing Fantasy Cup Auto Racing. Call 1-800-877-RACE for your rule book or play online at www.fantasycup.com.
Bobby Labonte is having the kind of day you dream about. Here he is, ready to lap the 10th place car. He has lapped Benson when he was running 13th. He lapped Elliott, and now he is up here after Grissom. He has taken Kyle Petty, and he just is decimating this field. Let's go down to that pit area, Bobby Labonte, and talk to the proud owner.
And that's Joe Gibbs, Ken. Joe, you guys are really dominating the competition today. Can you keep up this pace?
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to hear you, but we're extremely pleased. Obviously, we're just real early in the race. We're just trying to stay smooth, tell Bobby to stay smooth, just find his line and keep working. We got a long ways to go here, so we're going to just hopefully we'll be around at the end here.
Joe Gibbs looking on. Understand now that when he does his football show, he has a monitor so he can watch his car if it's running that day.
Boy, he's got race cars everywhere, drag racers. And his new addition, we got to watch Tony Stewart yesterday in the 300 here at Charlotte. Believe you me, boys, it's not going to be long for that guy's marquee.
He's for real. 3rd place in just a whale of a race. Well, right now, Bobby Labonte is exerting the kind of pressure. The 95 600 winner here is, well, he's up to take out, let's see, he's rolled by Grissom. He's after Ricky Rudd right now. Mike Hogwood has a report to file.
Jeff Bodine has gone a lap down. He has also come on pit road. They've tried several adjustments to try to get that 7 car to handle. Nothing seems to work. Now Jeff radios his crew. He thinks he has a right front shock that's gone bad. It's been a tough day so far for the number 7 team with Jeff Bodine.
Average speed at 159 miles an hour. That's way over the record. Here at 159.6 at the present time, with Bobby Labonte setting this torrid pace here today. Records being broken every 10 laps by the Joe Gibbs team and Bobby Labonte in his 153rd start. It looks like he's just cruising toward a 5th win. But you know how those things go, buddy.
Let me tell you, we've watched enough racing, you and I, Ken, over the years. Just a big lead means absolutely nothing, but the car is so good. But look at Kenny Schrader right here and Ricky Rudd as they go at it. There's racing going on the racetrack. Bobby Labonte just has his car a little bit better than everybody right now, and it makes all you have to have is just that little bit. Talking about the 7 car and the shock going bad, what that is, it's like riding a pogo stick. When that shock lets that spring just jump up and down, the front of the car just is almost uncontrollable.
Ricky Rudd, the 9th place car, coming by, having no problem. Alan Bestwick can give us an update on the number 2 car out there this afternoon, Rusty Wallace.
Well, Ken, at our happy hour show yesterday afternoon from here in Charlotte, Rusty Wallace told us he had a great race car. He thought he was going to be very much a factor to win. Then in the opening run of this race, before the first pit stop, his car was skating all over the racetrack. He couldn't keep up. He fell a lap down to the race leader early. Obviously now, a lot of people are a lap down. On this set of tires, Rusty says he's much better. He is in 21st position now, 1 lap behind the race leader. Remember, remember also from happy hour yesterday, they had a little pinhole leak in the engine, had to put a new motor in this morning. Rusty says this engine is just as good, and that part of the race car is fine.
It's shocking how well Bobby Labonte's Pontiac is putting it on him. The last time you saw a Pontiac in Victory Lane, you go back a whole year to Phoenix, Arizona with Bobby Hamilton driving for Richard Petty. Been a while.
Oh, it has that, but Bobby Hamilton on that particular day looked like what we're looking at now, what Bobby Labonte doing to the field. You can see Bobby right now. I mean, he's absolutely mowing them down high up on the racetrack there. Next corner, he'll pass him on the bottom. He does not care. The car is perfect, high or low.
And here he is up on that 9th place car, Ricky Rudd, the number 10. And the green Interstate car is up there for a shot at lapping the 9th place car as we come to the 100th lap. We haven't seen this kind of domination since Crazy Horse decided to pay a call on General Custer.
I'll tell you what, talking about a crazy horse, that Pontiac is a crazy horse.
Sweeping down to the inside, the 27 moving along. Rick Wilson getting a call here. Doing a good shot today. He was in the Grand National race as well yesterday, but there's the man of the hour.
Hey, race fans, Budweiser asks, who won? October 9th, 1994, Charlotte Motor Speedway. After scoring his first Winston Cup pole, Ward Burton in car number 31 drove away from the competition. Meanwhile, the 18 of Dale Jarrett and Ricky Rudd in car 10 were battling their way through the field. After starting 38th, Dale Earnhardt in car number 3 raced door-to-door with the 24 of Jeff Gordon. And so who won? Check the list of contenders, the answer after the break. Dale Jarrett recorded his 3rd career Winston Cup win at Charlotte. Luck wasn't with the other contenders like pole sitter Ward Burton, who lost a tire and crashed early in the event. Jeff Gordon and Ricky Rudd were involved in late race fireworks, which put them both in the wall and out of the race. After the restart, Dale Jarrett moved into the lead for the first time with only 4 laps to go and on to Victory Lane. Who Won was brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. This Bud's for you.
At lap 102, 153 miles into the event, a major crash in turn number 2, and it involved the leader, Bobby Labonte, in for 4 tires now. Take a look at what happened when Kevin LePage and the pole sitter, Jeff Bodine, had the problem initially. There they are up against the wall. That's LePage in the 91 down to the bottom. And now we start collecting cars hard on the binders, and they say that whole 4th turn was all oil, buddy.
Yeah, I think Kevin LePage may have had engine problems. As you can see there, everybody's just doing the best they can. Cars sliding everywhere. That's Bobby Labonte there coming across the racetrack, the race leader. Oh, there it is. Ricky Rudd got into the back of the 8 of Strickland. That's where the oil come from. That's probably an oil cooler they busted on the front of the 10 car when Bobby got sideways there.
But that 7 and the LePage car had already gotten trouble up in the wall when that one happened. They may have put the oil down right there that collected the rest. Riding with Bodine. End of a day for pole sitter. 18th different pole sitter. This year was Jeff Bodine. He will not be around for the finish on this one. That one looks bad. Bodine motioning. Wants some help there. He may try to get it back out and go for some points. Such a great weekend started on Wednesday. Another look.
How lucky can Bobby Labonte be?
Wow.
That was a bad break to spin over there, but he did not touch one thing. Got sideways. He's waiting for the pit road. Now Bobby Labonte is coming in the pits as we watch these guys go around here.
Ricky Rudd out of it, and let's find out what the story is there.
Ricky Rudd's car pulled behind the wall, obviously absolutely mangled. Ricky, are you okay, first of all?
Yeah, I'm in good shape. The race car's not doing too good, but I guess we're lucky the damage wasn't any worse. I mean, the car's pretty well wiped out. They're trying to get it back together right now, but couldn't tell exactly what happened. Somebody blew a motor, hit the oil, was on the racetrack. I had a choice. I basically had two choices: slaying them guys in the outside fence or try to miss Hut. I got in the back of Hut, and hope he's all right, because we hit pretty hard.
Okay, that's Ricky Rudd. Looks like he's out for at least a little while, if not a long while.
That looks like a whole front clip gone on Ricky Rudd's number 10. Steve Burns.
Well, Bobby Labonte just came back down pit road, Ken. He's been so dominant this afternoon. The team was working on the front air dam of the 18 car. The aerodynamics are a little bit hurt by the incident. They changed right side tires, did not change the left side. Well, let's check in now with Alan Bestwick.
One of the key points of this caution flag coming out of the timing of it, Steve, the fact that Jeff Burton got by Bobby Labonte when he spun, came around and beat the driver that took over the lead to the caution flag. And so Jeff Gordon, I should say, not Jeff Burton, Jeff Gordon is now back in the lead lap, recovered from the penalty of earlier in the race, and Gordon is back in the thick of things. You need that kind of luck when you're trying to win a championship.
And Bobby Labonte is pitting another time. He's back to 15th position. Really flat spotted those tires. Now here he is in for a second time, easing the number 18 down.
Well, you want to know what it looks like when you lock the brakes up and never get off the brake. That run right through the cords and right into the inner tire there, blowing the outside tire. But you noticed he didn't get up in the wall. He held that car straight down, let it slide till it gets stopped. He lost his tires, but hey, he didn't tear his car up that bad.
So at 107, who's the leader? This man's the leader. Mark Martin now takes command. He'll have Dale Jarrett in second, Jeff Burton in third, Earnhardt to fourth, Kyle Petty in fifth when we resume. Back live at lap 108 of the UAW-GM 500 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Randy Pemberton can pin down exactly where this altercation in turn 2 began. Randy?
Well, they believe it started with David Green's Caterpillar car. They had the rear end cap came off of the axle, and that spewed a little grease on the racetrack. Several cars involved. Jeff Bodine, you're one of them. Are you okay?
Did you say a little grease? There's a big strip down through there. I saw the oil or grease, whatever it was, and I was up high. The 91 car went underneath me. He didn't see it. He drove in the side of me, put us both into the wall. I guess I was talking when I hit the wall. I think I bit my tongue, but it's a shame. You know, we started out running really good. We accomplished one thing here, Charlotte. We got a pole, and we weren't running all that bad in the first run. When they let the car down off the jack, and I left the pits after we changed tires, I felt something break, and the car didn't handle after that. It's a shame. Like I say, we had a good car in the beginning, but something broke when we pitted, and we weren't running very good, and then we get involved in this wreck. But that's racing, right?
Okay, that's it. Jeff Bodine, the pole sitter, out for today. Alan Bestwick.
All right, Ray Evernham has got a smile on his face now. He didn't just a minute ago. He was up out on pit road waving his arms wildly at his driver, Jeff Gordon. They were talking to Jeff. Jeff was not responding. Well, they had about 6 crew guys out on pit road waving their arms wildly. All of a sudden, Jeff started talking to them again. The radio had come unplugged. Ray said, "It gave me a heart attack." So that's the story down here in the 24 pit. Let's go to Steve Burns.
And with Jimmy Makar, the crew chief for Bobby Labonte. Jimmy, you guys were killing them. How's the car now?
Well, obviously we don't know till we go back green, but the only thing that really hurt was the front air dam on the car. When he got sideways, came off the racetrack, it knocked it up a little bit, but we got it back down pretty close to where we were before. So if anything, it may tend to be a little tighter with it messed up a little bit like that, but we were just a little bit loose there that whole first part of the race, so who knows, maybe it'll fix it a little looser.
Well, if they're a little loose, they're still pretty good now. Ken?
14th position for Labonte. Make that 13th position. There's a couple more pit stops taking place. Grissom slides back one. Labonte moves up to 13th. And as to Jeff Gordon, he now is 8th. And this altercation has put 15 cars back in the lead lap. Points as of now, buddy.
Wow, Jeff Gordon's still in the lead, but just 97 points back from 135. Mark Martin would be if the race was to end now. Dale Jarrett would be 194, Jeff Burton 315, and Dale Earnhardt 542.
Here's Alan Bestwick.
Ray Evernham, the crew chief for Jeff Gordon, the point leader, has climbed down off the pit box. You can see he's communicating with Jeff. What happened?
His radio came unplugged, and we were about to have a heart attack. We were trying to wave him in, and it was just when his water bottle, when he went to get a drink, he actually unplugged his radio, and he came back on and said, hey, what's going on?
You're back on the lead lap now, back in contention. Was that a big relief?
Yeah, it really is. You know, I mean, I don't know. I would love to know exactly. Sometime I think they should take the crew chiefs up and show us how it's done. You know, when you're racing for $1 or $2 million, it's hard to judge off of somebody that's running a stopwatch by hand. And I'd really like to know how they do that so we could understand it.
Ray Evernham, Jeff Gordon's crew chief. Let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, Jimmy Spencer has just come from the infield care center, of course, standing in front of his battered race car. Jimmy, are you okay?
I'm fine. You know, it's really feel bad. You know, my whole race team worked really hard, and Donnie and the crew fed me a great race car again, and we've had a great race car so many times this year, and I don't know if it's luck or whatever. We're in the wrong place at the wrong time, and took us out of the top 5 finish today, and maybe an opportunity to win. But Camel team's strong. We're Winston next year, no bull. Maybe that'll change our luck, but hopefully Gary Selzy, he can uphold the Winston banner today in the drag race.
Of course, Jimmy Spencer, the winner of the bumper-to-bumper 300 Busch Grand National race here yesterday, but he's not going to win one today. Guys,
5th DNF did not finish for Jimmy Spencer. If he can't get back in this thing, it looks like that's going to be the case. Working on Schrader's number 33, Mark Martin is now the man to beat.
The UAW-GM Quality 500 on TBS is brought to you by Econo-Lodge. Spend a night, not a fortune, at Econo-Lodge. And by Mobile Motor Oil.
Now, ESOB, the official supplier of welding and cutting products to Petty Enterprises, presents the ESOB Tech Fact.
Folks, this is how a race car is born. 285 feet of steel tubing that's welded together to protect the driver in the cockpit. Charlie Longenstein is the shop manager for the Richard Petty driving experience, and these chassis are so important. We see some heavy collisions on race day.
That's absolutely correct, Steve. Every one of these welds we look after. We treat them like a little baby. There's probably 1,500 of them in this whole vehicle, so that's where ESAB comes in. A lot of technology of what we're doing here will filter over to the automotive industry on what you're driving down the highway on Monday morning.
Charlie's got a piece of sheet metal here from a Dodge pickup truck. So, Charlie, how does all this strength from the steel tubing and the welding get in our passenger vehicles?
Well, the automotive industry, they actually build a panel that goes inside your door, which simulates the door bars that you have on your race car.
So, again, safety innovations coming from racing on the racetrack to our vehicles on the highway.
We've experienced 7 laps under caution. Well, congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Hicks. Kind of hard to figure out who's the bride and who's the groom over there in that collection.
Look at this. Are you hungry?
Goodness. Snack time down there for Dale Earnhardt. Mike Hogwood.
Yeah, they're taking a little break here, having a little pizza. This is one confident race team. Their driver says the car is really coming on. He thinks they've got a great shot today. But Dale Earnhardt has been complaining to crew chief Larry McReynolds that this cleanup crew is not doing a great job. Larry's been talking to the Winston officials here down on pit road, and yeah, the cleanup is going to continue for a little while longer. Dale wants a real clean and green racetrack when they get back on it here in a moment. Now let's go back to the garage. Randy Pemberton.
Another of those involved in the wreck out there. Hut Strickland, you've come from the infield care center. You say you're okay, but you felt like a pinball in a pinball game out there.
Well, it really did. Right from the start of the race, seemed like, you know, just one of them deals. You know, we got caught up in a thing earlier on, and, you know, right from the start, or actually before things started, and then, you know, we played catch-up all day, and just, I don't know what happened out there. I guess somebody lost some rear end grease or something going in turn 1, and, you know, we saw it, thought we had it missed, and somebody come there and caught us from behind. But, you know, we just wasn't having a good day with this Circuit City Ford. We kept struggling along there, and, you know, I just hate it for everybody at Circuit City and everybody at Kendall Oil. They, you know, really stood behind us this year through thick and thin, and we felt like we had a good run, or was going to have a good run today. It just wasn't meant to be.
Okay, done for the day. Steve Burns.
And with Jimmy Fennick, Mark Martin's crew chief, these guys are trying to win the race, trying to win the Winston Cup Championship. Jimmy, what does Mark say about the car at this point in the race?
Nothing right now. It's kind of early. You know, we started out a little bit through. We made adjustment, got a little bit tight, so we went back. You know, it's early right now, but we'll see, you know, if we can get it just right.
Okay, Jimmy, back upstairs.
173 miles now. in the books. Here's Mark Martin leading. Look at the top 10. Musgrave up in there. Michael Waltrip in 9th position, carrying those Wood Brothers colors of old.
Look in 5th spot, Kyle Petty. We watched him get lapped on the racetrack. He made that lap up and is now back in the contention.
And the one to watch, everybody says, is Earnhardt in the number 2. Got the old smile back.
Number 3 is tough anywhere it goes. And, you know, I was a little bit hungry until I seen that boy eating that pizza. He got to stabbed it.
And there is that number 3 of Dale Earnhardt, settling down in 4th position to run down Martin Jarrett Burton if he's going to take the lead. How would you describe the Charlotte Motor Speedway? That's what we asked Mark Martin, and this is what he told us.
It's almost the ultimate. Charlotte Motor Speedway is one of the finest racetracks to drive on that you could possibly race. The first time I came here in 1981, I was 22 years old, and I had virtually almost no experience on a super speedway, and it felt like running a local half mile, only faster. It just feels good. I mean, this is a nice racetrack, a nice facility.
Here's Mark Martin, who's had a heck of a year, 18 top 10s in the last 21 races. And back on pit road comes Bobby Labonte. Here's Steve Burns.
Ken, we understand Bobby is the last car on the lead lap. They're concerned that they ran over debris during that last incident, so the safe bet is just change 4 tires and head back out.
15th position, 15 cars on the lead lap as Bobby Labonte makes his way back on the track, and we prepare for a restart. This will come at the 117th lap, buddy.
Boy, I tell you what, you know what I was talking about earlier in the race when I said things can change so quickly. It looked like Bobby Labonte had everybody just covered. He had already lapped all the way up to the top 10, and all of a sudden, just one thing on the racetrack, hey, we got a new show here.
David Green is coming back out on the track. Remember, he dumped some fluid out of the transmission and brought out this caution. And we're going back green right now as they enter the 118th lap. 177 miles. When they come around, Mark Martin sprints out in front. Dale Jarrett.
Derek Koch right there, he's on the inside just behind Mark Martin. He would love to try to make up one of those laps that he's down right now. And you see just behind them there, Rusty Wallace in the 2 car really moving around there. As you can see, he would love to get by Mark Martin. And whoa, Dale Jarrett has jumped out into a big lead here.
By 5, 6, 7 car lengths, he pulls away as Derek Koch in the 36, running in 15th position, tried to make up a lap. He was by everyone but Jarrett. Rusty Wallace hugging the inside. He's back there in 17th. He had hoped he was going to get a shot to move up through as well.
Well, you can see down the back straightaway, Mark Martin in the 6th here in the middle. He's just eating the sandwiches. They head off into the corner there. Rusty gets by him.
Here's Rusty trying to make amends with that number 2 Ford. And in that first 100 laps, it was not running like he wanted. Here he comes trying to get it back into this race. Needs to make up a lap. From the rear, the 18 begins to ramble. Steve Burns has words on that leader, number 88, Dale Jarrett.
Ken, I talked to Todd Parrott, the crew chief on the 88 just moments ago, and he said that they are a little bit tight off the corner. Now, Buddy Baker can explain this. They made a track bar adjustment to compensate for that tightness coming off the turns.
Well, what they do, they go up on the track bar to give it a little different roll center, and it also makes the car a little bit looser, so it'll make it come off the corner a lot straighter and not push the front end as he starts off the corner.
Leader by 12 car lengths. Battle for 5th right here. Terry Labonte. Earnhardt just in front of him. And just behind Terry Labonte comes Jeff Gordon.
You can see Jeff Gordon really running well down the straightaway. He's a little bit quicker than Terry, it seems, on the straightaway. You see him hanging right on the back bumper as they go through the corner.
Meanwhile, the guy that was leading the race, Bobby Labonte, who has come up from 15th spot. He is scrambling to move back up and catch those leaders. There he is under Ricky Craven. He's just passed Michael Waltrip. He's in that lead lap. Bobby Labonte now in 12th as he put 21 a position back. Ricky Craven is running the lap down.
You know, they worked on the front of this car. It kept the front valence back a little bit, but Bobby Labonte's car looked just as strong as before the accident, so he didn't do that much damage to the front of the car. It looks like it has good downforce yet.
Here he comes, streaking down to the bottom of the track, and he is underneath Musgrave. And that's going to bring him up into 11th position. He's coming after Grissom next for 10th position, the number 41, the white green numeraled automobile, going into turn 1. First time today that Bobby Labonte has had to struggle up through the field, running heavy traffic. Grissom holds him off, stays in 10th. Bobby comes back after him.
Well, you can see Musgrave driving very hard down in there just behind Bobby Labonte. Bobby Labonte actually got the car down below the white line. That's how good it's working. Right now he's being very patient, but look how fast that car is. He goes to the outside there on Grissom. Watch in the corner here. He just goes right on, pulls 1, 2 car lengths on anybody in the middle part of the corner.
He's going to end up in a box up there right now on that high side. Michael Waltrip takes the, whether the RCA car, Andretti, liking that high line today, staying out there. The 22 car is the next one to pass.
Look at the battle for the lead here. Jeff Burton has moved right up on Dale Jarrett down the front straightaway as they head down the first turn. It looks like Burton, he's going in the corner. He's taking the lead.
Looking for win number 4 this year. Jeff Burton scoots down to the bottom. What they were talking about with Dale Jarrett's handling problem certainly demonstrated there.
Yeah, and just behind them, Rusty Wallace has moved in here. He wants that lap back. He's fighting to get back in that lead lap. This car is running much better. Mark Martin there joins into the fight.
Rusty Wallace trying to close it up.
Looking at the steering wheel in Mark Martin's car, it looks like it's welded in the corner. He is not fighting that car at all. You talk about a car getting around this racetrack. It's very, very stable. This car is doing everything Mark Martin wants it to do. He dropped back on restarts because his car set up the long run. He's not quite as quick as other people on the get-go, but look at him now close in on the leader.
There they are, first, second, and third. Number 2 lap car in there is Rusty Wallace trying to get back to the lead lap. And Bobby Labonte continues to circulate and try to move his way up through this field. He is past Grissom. He is past, or is closed on Burton in the 22 right now. Almost had him as he went into the corner. Now he's at a far into the racetrack in turn 3. And there goes that 22 down to the inside. Chad Little mixing it up with him there.
3 Pontiacs dueling it out there.
The 22 is your 9th place car, Ward Burton. And in 10th is Bobby Labonte. We'll take a break and rejoin the action here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. In the UAW-GM 500 as Bobby Labonte claws his way back through the field. Charlotte Motor Speedway reminding you that tonight Superstation premieres Thelma and Louise, Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon, 2 ladies you don't want to mess with. That's tonight at 8 on TBS. Talking about big productions, there's some of the folks that are working on the new show, Turner Original Productions, and the 50th anniversary of NASCAR, up for next spring on TBS. Well, what a situation we have here. Number 99, Jeff Burton is out in front. Dale Jarrett finds himself second, Martin third, and Kyle Petty, buddy, up into that 4th spot with Earnhardt fifth.
You're exactly right. Kyle Petty looked like he was shot out of a rocket. He just took off, and all of a sudden he started dropping back a little bit. But right now he's in the same straightaway with the leaders and running a very comfortable 4th.
Randy Pemberton has more.
First, let's document how he got his lap back. He was 1 lap down when that wreck occurred. He was able to make up 15 car lengths, get by Bobby Labonte, race back to the start-finish line. Kyle Petty back on the lead lap. Beyond that, I talked to crew chief Bobby Kennedy and asked him if they had made any adjustments in the car today. Just a little bit of wedge to take out some looseness for the 44 Hot Wheels car. One thing that Kyle Petty may have an advantage here at Charlotte is the fact that these tires are the same exact tires that they ran at Dover. If you race fans watched the race 2 weeks ago at Dover, Kyle Petty absolutely killed them. When the race pace slows down and the track gets a little bit sloppy, they got to get out of the gas a little bit early. Kyle Petty sets the car in the corner and comes off hard. And I'll tell you what, this racetrack's coming to him. He's going to the front.
There's Kyle Petty. There's 4th spot. Earnhardt's just behind him. By the way, Jeff Gordon is in 6th. Now in 7th is Terry Labonte in the number 5. And up to 8 comes Bobby Labonte. He has passed Ward Burton. And Benson also went by Ward, who slipped back into the 9th position. Well, Wally Dallenbach's been out for 2 more laps, and he's back in again. So there's that 18 trying to close up on his brother.
Look at this. Dale Jarrett's running Burton back down there. The 99 is Burton as they head down into turn 3. I believe Jarrett's car is really working well on old tires. You see him right there. He moved right up on the back bumper there as they come out of turn 4.
What has been lost has been regained for Dale Jarrett in the 88. He had to surrender the front position for a while.
Yeah, but the bad news messenger sitting right there behind them. Look at Mark Martin move in here. He's running these guys down from a 15-car deficit now to make it down to about 4 car lengths.
He is having such a phenomenal run, Mark Martin, at the present time. Here's the 88, back on the inside. Dale Jarrett taking first place as they work toward the end of lap 140.
Here comes Mark Martin on the inside, passing Burton and moving right up on the back bumper of Jarrett as they head down into turn 1.
So Burton back to 3rd. Kyle Petty stays 4th. Earnhardt 5th. Gordon 6th. Terry Labonte 7th. Bobby Labonte in 8th. Johnny Benson 9th. And Ward Burton in 10th. Grissom now falling to 11th. Mark Martin, there's the leader, 6th thus far. Lead changes 8th. Couple of cautions. Major wreck here in turn number 2. It took nearly 10 laps to clean up. Fastest lap at a 177, buddy. Whoa.
You know, we were talking just a little while ago about the 2-car of Rusty Wallace trying to get his lap back. Well, he was right up against the leaders, but as they go along, he seems to be fading back. One car that is not is running right there with him is Dale Earnhardt. He's really picking them up and putting them down right now.
Take a look at that Dale Jarrett out in front. His dad, Ned Jarrett, has said, this kid is a much better race driver than I ever dreamed of being because he is such a great athlete. He's taken a lot of bad along with a lot of good because of his name, but he's proven he's his own man. He sure has. 3rd in the Winston Cup points, fighting with Mark Martin back there in 2nd and 3rd, and both of them closing up on Jeff Gordon this afternoon.
It makes you wonder when you read the paper. We read that we felt that the Chevrolets were going to have an advantage. If they have it, they're not showing it right now because the first 3 cars are Fords.
The one that had the advantage early and dominated for those first 100 laps was the Pontiac. If you're just joining us, it was all Bobby Labonte by as much as 7.5, 8 seconds. And despite all the talk regarding the added 1/4 inch of spoiler for the Chevrolets, only 1 lap today has been led by a Chevy buddy.
Look at Mark Martin going into the lead, going down in the corner there. He is hooked up.
By the way, that 1 lap was Jeff Purvis, and that was in an exchange of pit stops.
I want you to look, though, just look at the 3 Fords there and look right on the back quarter panel there. Kyle Petty has run these guys down in Pontiac.
Ford front 3, and there's the Hot Wheels Pontiac. Sure are hot right now. Kyle is closing ground, moving in on the front 3. We're at lap number 144 of the UAW-GM 500. We've covered 216 miles. There's 284 to go to decide it. 149 laps complete, working 150 of the UAW-GM 500, Charlotte Motor Speedway. 140,000 folks are here today, plus enjoying a beautiful afternoon in North Carolina, and a race that's been dominated by a surprise. Big surprise in the early going. Bobby Labonte for Joe Gibbs, the Pontiac out in front. But now it's Mark Martin with the lead after a several car jam session up in turn number 2. Turned this race around, has made Bobby Labonte fight his way back to the field, which he is doing. He is currently being shown in 7th spot. He's run down his brother Terry, passed him, picked up another spot, and he's closing on Gordon. Meanwhile, in the pits, this report from Alan Bestwick.
Ken, let's talk about Jeff Gordon for a minute, just to kind of go back and recap some of the stories we did at the top of the race. Jeff Gordon, the point leader, up by 135 coming into the event. Got a stop-and-go penalty for speeding, leaving pit road on his first green flag stop. He lost the lap, made it up when Bobby Labonte crashed at lap number 104. He is 6th right now as there's caution on the racetrack.
Caution indeed after John Andretti went high up here in turn number 3, slid along the wall.
Oh, he hit the wall pretty hard, and you see Jeff Purvis there. He has a lot of damage to the right side. He got in the wall also.
So that would be the 3rd caution of the day.
You can see why he got in there. The rear spoiler on that car is missing on the right-hand side. I would speculate that he probably knocked it off when he hit the wall.
When he hit
That's
the wall?
the reason we're under caution right now.
3rd caution, maybe some debris up there, as a couple of cars whale the concrete in turn number 4 in lap number 150. Under yellow, this will bunch them all back up. This is a big advantage for Bobby Labonte as he continues his charge back up the hill and into this fight with Martin 1st, Jarrett 2nd, Petty 3rd, Jeff Burton in 4th, Earnhardt 5th, Gordon 6th, and then Bobby, who, as we just mentioned, passed his brother Terry. Kyle Petty is the man of the hour, however. That Pontiac he's running is in the 3rd spot. He hasn't won since the spring of '95 at Dover. And as Buddy Baker was saying, he's having a whale of a day.
He is that. The king, boy, I tell you what, that apple didn't fall far from the tree. A lot of people wrote him off, but everybody deep in that know racing like we do knows this boy can drive.
Here's Randy.
Kyle Petty came screaming in the pits. He missed it, had to back up. Tire changers going to work. Travis Block on the front. Craig Lung on the rear. He's going to take a half around to wedge out Kyle down the way. Mike Hogwood.
Mark Martin, the leader, is in the pits. They are going 4 tires and fuel, and they are going to change the setup just a bit, going back to their original setup. Mark says the car is almost perfect.
Here they are on the charge.
Earnhardt comes out 2nd.
Wow. Jarrett pulls it off. Earnhardt 2nd, Martin 3rd. And there you see Gordon right in there behind them as they wheel back out after the pit road was opened. Track position, everything, buddy?
So this brings a new, I guarantee you we'll have something to talk about when they drop the green flag this time.
So Earnhardt very much in the thick of this thing. Never a good qualifier, but when it comes to racing, it says it all, 7-time Winston Cup champion. But it's been a while, 54, since he's tasted victory. Commercial break and then back. Ready to resume the UAW-GM 500 here in Charlotte.
Promotional fees and considerations have been paid by Remington, Steel, Plasticoat, and by Amoco.
There you see the top 5. And for Earnhardt fans, happy days are here again. Take a look at how he annexed that 2nd spot on this restart, buddy.
Let me tell you, he's aggressive on pit road even. Pit crew does a great job. These guys coming out behind him here. Watch Earnhardt come out here. He just takes over 2nd spot. You see Dale Jarrett going by. He just pulls right over on Martin there and takes that spot.
How about a word from Mike Hogwood?
Dale Earnhardt had wanted no changes in this car. Said they were running fast as the leaders before they pitted. But he told the crew what a great job they did on this pit stop. Indeed it was. And Dale says, hey, guys, it must have been that pizza. Y'all keep doing that during the race.
Better get a few more real quick. Get the oven heated up. Dale Earnhardt's number 3, now ready to challenge for 1st place on Dale Jarrett.
You know, I talked to him about is the fire really there? The winning, is it like it used to be to you? And he had some interesting thoughts.
I'm just as excited for the excitement of it, to be close to winning again, or the opportunity to win again. You know the next race could be your race. The team's come around well, so it's an exciting feeling that doesn't never go away.
For Earnhardt, I don't think it matters at all. Any race, short track, whatever it is, he'll run it just as hard as he can. And it must have been frustrating these last weeks, trying to get it back and then getting close, 2 seconds in a row. Will this be the day when he gets that checker?
He looks like a bad kid got away with something when he starts grinning. I think, you know, he's perfect.
All right, the man in black is back. He's in second spot. Jarrett's up in front. As we take a look here at downtown Charlotte, North Carolina, the Nations Bank building, just down the street here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Back with more shortly. Well, they're still dusting off the track here in the main straightaway. A lot of kitty litter down. Let's take a look at a pit roundup here. Find out what these folks did. Take a look at Mark Martin. Came in first, currently third. Dale Jarrett, he had a good stop, if we remember. How about Earnhardt? 10th. Getting right back in there. All right, let's go down and get our pit reports and start with Steve Burns.
Well, Ken, just before the caution period, Alan Bestwick updated the 24 car. Now, at the beginning of the race, I talked to Mark Martin. If you'll remember, he said, this car is very flexible. We can make a lot of changes to it. Now, what that means is anytime they make an adjustment to the car, they're making a compromise. Well, they made an adjustment on the last pit stop. Now they're back to their original setup. So, again, the 6th car doing a good job of adapting to the track conditions. And I believe Randy has an update on Terry Labonte.
Well, we talked about Terry Labonte's dismal season to date, but not today. After starting 43rd, he has made a hard charge to the front of this field. He is currently 7th. On the first few pit stops, they made very few adjustments. Now they're just really tweaking the car. The last pit stop for Terry Labonte, a pound out of each the right rear and left rear, trying to correct a loose problem. If they don't get it with that, they're going to go ahead and drop the track bar that Buddy Baker was talking about early. Maybe that'll get them to the front. Now to Mike Hogwood.
Well, we told you about Dale Earnhardt running second right now. He started 19th in this race. The crew has made adjustments on every pit stop. Dale says he thinks they've got it. He thinks the track has come to him. Watch out for the Intimidator, the man in black. He is ready to race here at Charlotte.
Jarrett, Earnhardt, Martin, Gordon, front 4. Jeff Burton in for 5th. Kyle Petty, 6th. Here's that Amoco mid-race report. 6 leaders thus far in the event. 10 lead changes and the speed down to 135, well off the record. They were over the record for a considerable amount of time, and now they're well away from that 1993 mark of Ernie Irvan at 154.5 miles an hour. Some of the victims of this race will take one more break, and then I think we're ready for some green flag racing here at the UAW-GM 500. Is coming out. A big wreck late in the race sent Jeff Gordon to his first Daytona 500 win under caution. The first race at the Texas Motor Speedway, all eyes on Jeff Burton in that event. It was a day of firsts, and for the first green flag. Big crash in the center of the field, collecting 2-3 cars as they broke away. Jeff Burton taking his first Winston Cup win. Here he comes. Around, headed for checkers. Ernie Irvan is finally going to win. The track that nearly did him in. Ernie Irvan for the checkered flag, and he won the Michigan 400. Back to Daytona for the Pepsi 400. And the last lap shootout that ended with a bang. Mark Martin, let's see who wins this race. Here we come off the line. It's going to be John Andretti winning and Terry Labonte finishing second. The battle for third goes to Sterling Marlin. Andretti taking his first Cup victory. The Brickyard is now looked on as one of the top events in NASCAR. And this year, strategy and gas mileage proved a factor in putting the surprise winner, Ricky Rudd, in victory lane for his second 97 win.
Here he goes. Look here. Oh, they make contact. Oh, and they make contact. They go down into the corner side by side, and Jeff Gordon holds off the challenge.
Jeff Gordon beat Jeff Burton, becoming only the second driver in NASCAR history to win the Winston Million. Some of the highlights thus far, 1997 on the Winston Cup Trail. And there's some of the beauty of North Carolina on this golden day down here, and a great day for this 500-mile race. And there you see those top 10.
Boy, I tell you what, you saw Jeff Gordon there holding up the $1 million check. Today, he's probably going to go over $4 million in this race.
Getting ready to finally go green. They've dusted this track about 3 times with Speedy Dry, particularly the main straightaway. It's greasy out there, and I'm sure those crews are hearing from their drivers to get as much kitty litter down anywhere they possibly can to get any kind of a grip on this thing. Well, get a grip on your chair, because here we go. It's Jarrett and Earnhardt. Sounds like Daytona replay, number 8 or 9, with Mark Martin right there in that 3rd position. Jeff Gordon in 4th as the pace car rolls in, and they're ready to wheel away and restart at lap 163.
Okay, they're going.
Jarrett gets a good jump there. There's 2 cars on the inside. Would love to make up a lap. Ernie Irvin in 28. Also Rusty Wallace, but he's not going to be able to do it. You see a brake job. Look at Earnhardt come to the outside as he heads for the back straightaway.
Now it's the old Ford Chevy battle. 140,000 love this kind of thing. And the Pontiac not far away, ready to mix it up. Down the main straightaway. Here's Earnhardt. Earnhardt to the inside. He's got that spot he loves. And they're up and roaring as he comes across the line. Earnhardt goes out in front, the 7th difference leader today. The man in black is definitely back.
Look at the grandstand react there. That's the back straightaway even they're standing up. They didn't see the pass for the lead, but you could tell Earnhardt was in the lead. Just the noise of the crowd here is deafening.
Ernie Irvin, Rusty Wallace, lap machines trying to get back into it. Here comes Jarrett back another time. Ah, this is a classic.
Now, what this does, it lets these 2 cars that are trying to get their lap back really close in on them as they run side by side. Give it to Earnhardt by half a car left. Here comes Jarrett back.
And Gordon comes to 3rd. Martin falls to 4th.
Look at Ernie Irvin on the inside there, passing Jarrett, making it 3 wide going in the corner.
Me. Ernie Irvin tucks it right on the bottom. Climbs up there for a shot at Earnhardt and back into that lead lap. Rusty Wallace just behind Dale Jarrett's number 88. Mark Martin is back 4th overall. Number 9, Lake Speed, may have grazed the wall. He's coming in slowly. In fact, he came down the main straightaway, then cut across the grass. Yellow is out. They're going to put another caution out. I'm telling you, this track is greasy.
They're racing back to the flag. Can Ernie Irvin make up his lap as they come off turn 4? No, Earnhardt is too much.
Earnhardt's not going to let that happen. Got enough on his hands. Doesn't need Irvin. Earnhardt stays 1st, Jarrett 2nd, Gordon 3rd, Mark Martin in 4th. And you've got Jeff Gordon 5th and Kyle Petty in 6th. Bobby Labonte up to 7th. He's passed Terry Labonte, put him back to 8th. Randy, can you tell us more about what happened to Lake Speed?
No, Lake Speed just came out of turn 4, and the engine was cut off. So just cruised through turn 4, hung a left on the racetrack, went into the infield, and went to his pit.
And there you see him now back behind Victory Circle. Hoods up on the number 9 for Lake Speed. We check this track very carefully. It's turned into a skating rink with all the wonderful Indian summer heat that we're enjoying here. What about Alan Bestwick? Can he tell us more?
Well, Ken, there was a lot of radio traffic going back and forth between the crew chiefs and the drivers just before that start, saying that with as much oil dry put down on the speedway as there was, they wanted their drivers to really be careful and make sure they didn't slip, particularly coming off turn 4. Maybe slip and catch that outside wall with the right side of the car. The racing we saw with Earnhardt and Jarrett and Irvin, for that matter, didn't look like they were being too careful, and perhaps that's what might have caught up Lake's speed. He might have just slipped up the racetrack there and popped the wall with the right side of that car.
Crowd up and cheering Earnhardt as he comes by as they get ready to go racing in one lap. Enthusiastic folks here. They may have booed him in the past, but they love him today. And as Earnhardt has said, if they're making noise, that's all that matters.
Hey, that's all that counts. The only thing you don't want to hear is nothing.
In silence. And the Earnhardt fans have got their stuff out. And they're excited about the potential for this one. Turn it all around after 54 losses and some of those heartbreakers like Talladega a year ago, and he got so busted up, and he still refused to be put on a cart to be all the way. He walked. Broken sternum, broken shoulder. He was not going to be laid down. He was going to go upright out of that racetrack. Here he is out in front. Dale Jarrett's right there. Gordon's in third. Mark Martin in fourth. Get ready. Pace car coming in. Lap 168 to be completed. They said they want another lap. They want another lap. Kevin LePage is re-entering the fray. Remember, he was involved in that altercation up in turn 2 when he got crossed up with Jeff Bodine after the 96. David Green dumped transmission oil all over the outside of the 4th turn and collected 6 cars out there.
Wow, I mean, look at this car. That just shows a lot of determination for the sponsor on the back of the car. Going out there, even though the car is torn up as badly as it is, Kevin LePage just trucks right on.
And we got viewers everywhere. Yep. Thank you, Pennsylvania. Casting their vote. Boy, that infield crowd, they have been having a party for 3 days. Happy 50th anniversary to Ann and Al May. Yes, indeed. Hope you're having a great day.
Wow.
Well, they've come doubly prepared. All right, let's get back to this racing with 170 complete. They may give them even another lap. But
look under the best station there. Wonder who they're pulling for.
You can tell. For sure. Earnhardt fans. Lake Speed out of the race now. Here's Randy with him.
Well, didn't wreck the race car bad. What was it, Motor Lake?
Yeah, I think something inside the engine. It sounded like he dropped the fork down in the garbage disposal when he was going down the back straightaway there. And we got on the clutch and luckily didn't lose the car. But Ford was starting to come on. We got off to a slow start there. Car was so loose, it was unbelievable at the first of the race. Couldn't run it, but the guys made some adjustments and the car was starting to drive pretty good. And we were passing people and moving up. But end of the day, we'll go get them next week.
Next week is Talladega for the Winston Cup stars. All this crowd moves down to that 2.6-mile track. And the action will be just as enthusiastic. The crowd's just as large as we get down to the final races of the series. 1997, Earnhardt's file. Been a while since he's won one. 54 in a row. Annapolis, North Carolina's pride. Brings that field down the back straightaway. He'll be ready to go back to Talladega, the track that tried to bite him a year back. Tore him up pretty well. He could walk away. Rockingham comes after that. Then Phoenix, Arizona. It all comes to conclusion November the 16th in Atlanta, Georgia. How many cars still in that lead lap as we get ready to go, buddy? I think we're still at 15.
Oh, yeah. But there are 15 good ones. Take my word for it. And a lot of people trying to get back in the lead lap. You must get a good start because there's a lot of people who want your spot.
Get ready to watch him mix it up. It's Earnhardt versus Jarrett. North Carolina struggled between two of their top personalities. And it's Chevrolet versus Ford as they go into turn number 1. Turn it back on, working the 172nd lap. 258 when they come around, miles complete.
Classic Earnhardt start there. Nobody jumps him when you get the green flag. You see him going down into turn 3 there. Dale Jarrett trying to make a move on the outside.
Wheels it right up. Tough part of that turn 4. Jarrett hangs it right in there. A bit of a ripple throws a lot of guys into the wall, not these guys.
This is really helping these guys just behind them that's trying to get back in that lead lap. You see them closing right up on Earnhardt's bumper as they head towards the back straightaway.
But here comes Gordon trying to move around Rusty Wallace. Irvin in the 28, Wallace in the 2, trying to get a lap back, and it's even across for the lead another time. Here they come for turn 4. Completing lap 173, still dead even. Earnhardt versus Jarrett. Jarrett on the outside, noses in front in turn 1. Rusty Wallace shoots the gap on the inside to try to move under Ernie Irvin. Get a crack at going after those 2 leaders and get that number 2 Thunderbird back into that lead lap.
Look at Earnhardt look on that inside, trying to get the 88 to push up just a little bit. You see him come right back on the inside there to take the lead.
That's the move that works time and time again. And look at Wallace. Easing along on the bottom. The 24, Gordon comes down low. Boy, this looks like a half-mile short track right now.
Dale Jarrett fights back again. They're side by side going into turn 3. Look at Rusty Wallace just behind the 3 there of Earnhardt as they head down into 3. Looks like he was pushing him down the back straightaway.
Averaging 174, 175 miles an hour a lap. Cranking it right in there. Able to look over and see the other guy eye to eye, lap after lap. Jarrett on the outside, Earnhardt on the inside. And those 2 lap cars. Ernie Irvin's been able to stave off, riding the outside. The efforts by Rusty Wallace. Can he do it this time? Wallace trying to be hooked up with Earnhardt and drag himself through on the bottom.
This looks like Talladega. They're 3 wide there. You see Ernie Irvin in the center. He kind of stuck the nose in there and thought better of it. But he's going with Jarrett on the outside there.
How long can you do this kind of stuff, Baker?
Wow, these are the best in the world at what they do. They can do it for a long time, and the fans are loving it all the way around the racetrack. The arms are flying up in the air. This is Earnhardt, 15 miles from where he's born, fighting for the lead here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
With Dale Jarrett about, what, 20 miles from where he was born?
You got
fighting
it.
for that lead just as well. And here comes Ernie Irvin to the bottom under Jarrett. Meanwhile, Mark Martin still deployed in 4th, Kyle Petty in 5th, Jeff Burton in 6th, and Terry Labonte, who led 96 laps at the outset. Everything but those first 7 or 8 laps by Jeff Wadine, the pole sitter. He's right back in this thing. Bunched right up in 7th spot with his brother Terry in 8th.
You'll see just behind this group, look at Mark Martin. He said, I want my dog in this fight, too. He moved right up there. He's charging into 4th spot as we speak.
Mark Martin giving us these pictures as he goes for 3rd spot on Gordon. Durashine aerial platform giving you these pictures. Gordon trying to pull up around those lap cars. He's got to do a little defensive stuff here because Mark Martin is really after him. There's Gordon to the high side.
He's handling very well. He gets a good run off the corner, pulls even with Jarrett down the straightaway, and look at Mark Martin coming with him. He's using the shaft down the straightaway, 200 miles an hour into turn 1.
Martin stays there with Gordon. 3rd is Gordon. 4th is Martin. Look at Kyle Petty at 44 running 5th. And how about this one? At 99, Jeff Burton. He's looking right back at the guy that led so much of the early going here, Bobby Labonte. Tucked in between them, that's the 90, Dick Trickle. He's a lap or 2 down. And knew exactly where Trickle is in all of this. Still out there hustling that car around. Dick Trickle in the 18th position, lap down.
Whoa, look at, I'm telling you right now, Jeff Gordon made it 3 wide coming off turn 2 or 4 there. Pulls up on Rusty Wallace, but that was a wreck. It just didn't happen. I looked at 24. He was 2 inches off the wall.
Give that man a red badge of courage. All the way to the wall. He had to have it timed just right. or he would have run out of time in this 500. Rusty Wallace right there with him. Wallace still fighting to make up that lap.
Well, the Fords had dominating cars at the very first of the race, but now Earnhardt checks out. He has about a 10-car lap lead. There goes Jeff Gordon in second place. Hey, the Chevrolets are fighting here. They're running very well.
John Andretti has come back on the track. Kevin LePage came out briefly. Remember, he started 12th, was in that wreck. He's gone back in. And look at this. Here we are, back there again. Gordon and Martin at it. That second spot that's being contended.
Look at that, 3 wide down into turn 3. Gordon fighting the outside. Mark Martin just a little bit better as far as getting a good bite through the corner.
The car of Hut Strickland down on the bottom back out, as you saw in that picture. They made him 3 wide.
As you can see, Mark Martin takes over second there from Gordon.
Jarrett is backed up to 4th. Kyle Petty stays 5th. Jeff Burton 6th. Bobby Labonte stays in 7th. Whoops, Bobby Labonte comes around the 99. Jeff Burton falls back a spot. Here come the Pontiacs.
I'll tell you what, Bobby Labonte, he gets the Attaboy Award right now. He just made it 3 wide down in the middle of the corner, and he's doing anything he wants to with this car. Kyle Petty is just a second ago was the world leader. Look at him go by in there. That's 2 car lengths in 1 corner.
That's 5th place for Bobby Labonte. Alan Bestwick.
Ken, this week NASCAR has made a rules modification for the Chevrolet Monte Carlo teams, giving them an additional 1/4 inch of rear spoiler. One of the biggest proponents of getting some sort of rules modification was Richard Childress, Dale Earnhardt's team owner, feeling that they needed something to be a little more competitive with the Fords. Jeff Gordon and his team, who have won 10 races this year, Childress said, were winning a lot of races when they didn't have the fastest car. Not that they had a better car than the Fords, but teamwork, the best driver, and the best crew chief were winning them those races. Well, here's a Chevrolet other than Jeff Gordon's out in front this week.
And those laps that are being led by Earnhardt, hey, it's been a while. He's led 19 today, and that's the most since Talladega back in May when he led 76.
You know, the one factor you can never dial in with rear spoilers and downforce and all that, size of driver's heart. Right now, Earnhardt's in front of his hometown fans, and he's driving his heart out. That's an extra 1/4 inch of spoiler right there.
It's a great way to put it, buddy. That's the kind of thing we saw Jimmy Spencer do yesterday when he just out-couraged everybody in the field to win that 300-miler. Look at Mark Martin. He's in second. Rusty Wallace still trying to find a way to make up that lap with the number 2 Ford Thunderbird. A lot of action here at Charlotte and more to come.
Promotional fees and considerations have been paid by STP, ESAB, and by Durashine.
Dale Earnhardt says you pull your belts down, you get your eyes as big as silver dollars, and you go for it. And that's what he's doing today in the UAW-GM 500. Earnhardt is going for it. He's leading here at lap 192.
What he's doing right now, though, his eyes are big as a silver dollar, but is full of that number 6 car closing in on him. Mark Martin is there. He is just behind Earnhardt.
Kevin LePage is number 91. A little disabled down on the bottom of the track. You know, it's wonderful to hear this crowd respond. When you're winning all the time, when you're prolific and you just can't seem to miss and you win 8 or 9 or 10 races. You got to remember, there aren't 2 teams out here. There are 43 teams. And 42 teams aren't happy if you're dominating. Didn't matter if it was Cale Yarborough. Didn't matter if it was Baker. Didn't matter if it was Darrell Waltrip. Didn't matter if it was Earnhardt. Those others all wanted to see their guy win sooner or later. But when the road gets a little rocky and gets a little tough, and these fans know how good these drivers are, they respond as they are today to Earnhardt. Now they want to see him fight his way back into this thing. And fight he must, because here comes Mark Martin out of Batesville, Arkansas, and he's got a loaded gun. 1 car length separates first and second as they float around this track at about 173 miles an hour right now. Average speed. Earnhardt still first. Martin in second. Gordon to third. Jarrett fourth. Bobby Labonte in fifth, and Kyle Petty in sixth. And look at Kyle Petty, that green car you saw in the back of the frame. He's there. Here's Martin coming to the inside.
You can see him fighting through the dogleg there. Down into turn one, Earnhardt fights back on the outside.
Travis Carter has said that the reason he liked Jimmy Spencer so much is that he's like Earnhardt. He just can't stand to be passed. He will fight harder than anyone to stay there. But here's that Ford down on the inside.
Here comes Earnhardt back on the outside. It looks like the 6th car has an advantage, but here comes Earnhardt back.
Even as they come to the line. And Earnhardt goes back in front.
This looks like the race yesterday. Jimmy Spencer took the high line. Mark Martin on the bottom. Cannot muster up enough. Coming off of the corner there. He's not able to swing out to the wall and use momentum to get great straightaway speed. Earnhardt knows that. You can see him holding very tight there. Going in the corner. Mark has to be very careful not to slip. Look at the back of Martin. Just a little bit loose as they come off turn 4.
That's Earnhardt applying the same pressure that Spencer did a day before to try to contain Mark Martin, to pin him down, to make him work that car a little harder going into that first turn and lift a little sooner. So it's Earnhardt back in front. And that's just sheer guts.
You can see Jeff Gordon there. I think he's just biding his time. He knows he has a little bit of a point lead. Now he goes to the outside of Rusty Wallace there. 3rd place car, Jeff Gordon fighting on the outside.
Looking for Mark Martin back at that number 24. Earnhardt first, Martin second, Gordon.
Take a
look at this crowd coming along. Here's the 18.
There comes Bobby Labonte. That green car led and dominated the first part of this race. You can see in the corner, no contest. Bobby Labonte is much quicker in the middle part of the corner. Pontiac moves into 3rd. Let's see where he's at here. I got to look at the computer.
I think you'll find him.
He's in 4th place at the moment.
Here's that battle for first continuing. Earnhardt, Martin, Gordon. You're right, Labonte up to 4th. Jarrett falls to 5th.
Look at Earnhardt. He looked to the inside there as Mark Martin takes the lead away. As they go down in the corner, here comes Earnhardt again. 2nd place is not something he loves to do.
And they're throwing those cars into those corners. 180, 185. Slow them down. A little under 170 in the middle of those corners.
A Ford
inches
leads,
apart.
A Ford leads 2 Chevrolets just behind him. Will the Chevrolets gang up on Ford and draft up on him? It looks like Mark Martin is just a little quicker now in the center part of the corner than Earnhardt.
Mark Martin looking back. Earnhardt's there. There's your top 4. There's your top 5.
Look at Bobby Labonte on the outside coming up on Jeff Gordon. It's just a matter of time. This is a rocket ship.
Pontiac. That green machine closing in on the Chevrolet of Jeff Gordon. Swings to the outside.
Oh, man. I've had some great race cars on super speedways, but I don't believe that I ever had it covered like Bobby Labonte has right now. He swings by there like he's on a quarter-mile racetrack.
Closes up on the leaders. Bobby Labonte coming up on Earnhardt. Ford, Chevy, Pontiac, 1, 2, 3. Working lap 203.
There goes Bobby Labonte. He takes the outside line on Earnhardt there. I don't think he's going to have enough to pull him there, though. Earnhardt is very, very smart. When you get behind him, he can get very wide when you try to make the moves on him.
304.5 of 500 miles run. Bobby Labonte closes up on Earnhardt in the 3 car. Mike Hogwood can tell us more about Earnhardt's mount right now.
Early in the race, Ken, Dale Earnhardt talking a lot with his crew. They were even talking about the crew being hungry. So when Dale Earnhardt took the lead, and now that he's battling with the leaders, there have been no words exchanged between crew and driver for the last 15 or 20 minutes. This is the way Dale Earnhardt likes to race. He's out there on his own, says he's got the car to do it.
Gets covered by Bobby Labonte, and now Dale Jarrett fades to the outside to try to make a run on it. First time, Bobby. Hold on that. Coming up, Bobby Labonte making his move, trying to get in here and pull up on Mark Martin for the lead.
See Dale Jarrett moving there on Earnhardt also. It looks to me that Earnhardt might have a little chassis problem. He's not running quite as well through the corners. You see Jeff Gordon moving up on the outside also.
Bobby Labonte hasn't led a lap since lap 102. But he's ready to go for it now. And here comes Dale Jarrett right back into the hunt.
Look at Gordon there. That's one of the best against the kid that everybody, I mean, he said that Earnhardt was his hero when he moved into this sport. That was what he kind of gauged anything that he done. If he ever got where he could run with Earnhardt, he thought he was there, and he is doing it very well. You notice Kyle Petty's moved in here also.
Kyle Petty right up behind Earnhardt. Put him in 6th spot. The 92-95 winner, Mark Martin, still in front, but closing him down is Labonte. Mike Hogwarts.
Just talked to crew chief Larry McReynolds of Dale Earnhardt's team, and he says that Dale simply used up his tires trying to hold off Mark Martin. They're now just going to ride it out to the next pit stop and get a fresh set of rubber on. Then they think they can go back and race again. Those tires are used up.
Kyle Petty coming to the inside. 207 laps have been completed of the 334 to be run today in this 500-mile test, in which Mark Martin currently commands.
The UAW-GM Quality 500 on TBS is brought to you by Peerless Faucet. Get more out of your faucet than just water. And by Napa Auto Parts. We keep America running.
Hey, coming up, Michael Jordan and his world champion Bulls take on Europe in the McDonald's Championship. 5-time world champions get at it in Paris, coming up Friday, October 17th at 8 o'clock on TNT. We don't need any TNT here today. We've got it. This race is dynamite. Look at Mark Martin out in front. His lead is shrinking as Bobby Labonte is closing in. Ford against Pontiac, and then you've got Dale Jarrett right back at it again in 3rd spot. Kyle Petty, who started in 40th position today, now has himself up to 5th. Sandwiched in between Kyle Petty and Jarrett, Jeff Gordon. There you see it, 7 different leaders today. They swapped that lead 16 times to date. 213 laps are now complete, 319 miles. Check in with Randy Pembroke.
Crew Chief Bobby Kennedy standing here. You're having a great run, Bobby. Tell us a little bit about it.
Car's been really good. We made a couple adjustments on the first stop and hadn't touched it since. You know, it's fortunate enough to get that caution when we needed it, get our lap back, and put us in a pretty good situation right now.
When will you pit next?
We're looking about lap 225. Then we'll have probably a 2-tire stop at the end of the stage green.
Oh, there's a little strategy he's telling you about right now. You know, to the contrary of what Dale Earnhardt has done when he ran his tires hard, Kyle Petty laid back, didn't do any damage to his tires. Now the track once again coming to him.
11 laps away from a pit stop. Kyle Petty looking for that first win since 1995 at Dover. Here's the man he has to beat for the very top of the list today. Mark Martin staying out in front, but his lead is now just a second. It was 1 3/10. Bobby Labonte closing down.
We had a report just a second ago that Earnhardt said there was some debris in turn 1. You don't think he wants new tires, do you?
I'll bet they're hoping, everybody's hoping to find some debris out there except Mark Martin right now. Take a look at this interval between 1st and 2nd place. Mark Martin's Ford and the Pontiac of Bobby Labonte. And there's Dale Jarrett just in the back of that frame.
You know, as great as Labonte is running in 2nd place there, Mark Martin's holding his own, and he's going through traffic very, very well. You're riding with Bobby Labonte now. As they come out of turn 2, you can see the lead car right up in front of him up there. But Mark is really running a very, very easy race right now. Easy on his tires. Bobby Labonte may have used his tires really hard to get up to 2nd place.
Hey, buddy, take us around here with Bobby Labonte as we ride with this Wicks Interstate car. Then we're back with the leader for just a second, looking from the Durashine aerial platform. But when we get back in that in-car, can you give us a little feeling about how it is to get around this track, get down low on it?
Well, we can just look at Mark there coming off turn 2. he starts down the back straightaway. You can see the car. Those lines are about 15 feet apart, but they look like they're solid down that back straightaway. That's how fast they're running. Right back down to the bottom. Mark Martin not letting the car slide. He's not putting any extra heat into the tires. Now off turn 4 and down towards the start-finishing line. Right about here, they start angling to the outside, but you see the shade here. Momentarily, you're blinded going into turn 1 because of the shade off the condos getting into turn 1. Then when you go back into the sunshine, you kind of split and get ready for the back straightaway again.
Kenny Wallace in the Square D car giving you that ride around the racetrack as he was being lapped by Mark Martin in the number 6. Kenny is back in 29th position as you've seen these rundowns. Well, here's Martin still holding his own, and it's back to 1 2/10 of a second. He's picked up a little now. Closes in on David Green, who's back in the race. Had rear end trouble earlier, and that led to a big jam session over in turn 2. Riding with Mark Martin. Here's over to the side. Check on Green.
You can see Mark has a different driving style than most guys. He takes both hands and puts them over on the left side of the steering wheel. Once he gets the car turned where he wants it, very little movement going through the corner there. On the straightaway, you'll see him come back over and readjust his hands. He'll put them in the 10 and 2 position. But in the corners, he always takes his right hand and throws it way over there and starts turning down.
That's what Cale used to do.
You can see right there, he's actually resting his left arm down the straightaway next to the net there on the roll cage.
Time for pit stops, lap 220. Derek Cope is coming onto pit road. Cope running in 24th, comes in. And now we see the 97 car also coming in. Chad Little up in 23rd. Here's Rusty Wallace's number 2 up and away. Martin continuing to dominate at this time.
Well, it won't be long before we'll see the 6 car, and especially Dale Earnhardt. He said he's used up his tires. All these guys will be heading down pit road. You wouldn't believe the difference when you put 4 new tires on a race car on a racetrack that's as slick as this is right now. You feel like you could not make a mistake when you get new tires on.
And you could see how slick it was there as Martin just let that car climb up, gave it free rein to bring it across. Here's the number 3, Earnhardt on pit road. This is lap 222. Actually working lap 223 as Dale Earnhardt comes in. Just in front of him, the 42 is pitted, Joe Nemechek, and he's back underway. Mike Hogwood has that number 3 car as it comes to a halt.
And Dale Earnhardt is going to get 4 fresh tires that he sorely needed. They are not going to do any major chassis adjustments. Dale feels the fresh rubber is the only thing they need. They're taking about a half a round out just to loosen it up just a little bit as they put in a full tank of fuel. They've been discussing the track changing just a bit. Dale does think it's going to come to him. He is down and away, 17.1. High fives here on pit road. They did a great pit stop. Alan Pittman.
Jeff Gordon is on pit road. The DuPont Chevrolet getting right side tires. They're also going to give up a little track position and take a right front rubber spring out to try and cure a problem where the car is pushing off the corner, meaning it wants to drive straight toward the wall. Gordon down and away with that spring rubber out. Let's go upstairs.
And just in front of him, Dale Jarrett making a pit stop in almost the identical time. The Labonte brothers, Terry and Bobby, are both in on pit road now. Randy?
Terry Labonte has already pitted up a half-pound on the left rear, 4 tires. He likes the car on long runs. Kyle Petty now in. 1 small wedge adjustment on the right side, 4 tires. Very good pit stop for the Hot Wheels car. Steve Burns.
Randy, Bobby Labonte down here on some routine stops. We heard them talk about making an air pressure adjustment. That'll stiffen up the springs. But Bobby Labonte is gone after 4 tires.
Kyle Petty's number 44 works his way onto pit road. Bill Elliott is in. Elliott currently in 8th of these pit stops. Mark Martin over there.
Mark Martin slowing. Well, no, he looked like he was slowing. He just had the car right down on the white line. I thought he was going to make his stop this time by, but you see him going by great speed there.
Martin continuing to lead and draw it out. He's up to 226 laps. Ted Musgrave now in 2nd spot. Benson to 3rd. Grissom to 4th. Michael Waltrip to 5th. as Martin stays out there again.
Well, let's talk about this a little bit. This won the race for him in Dover. You can see him slowing. He's getting ready to come down pit road as we speak.
Next to last stop for Mark Martin in this 500-mile race. And for just 18 or 19 seconds, he'll turn over the task of keeping this car up in front for those good men on pit road. Let's see what they'll do. Steve?
And to the attention of crew chief Jimmy Fennick, and keep in mind, as we said at the top of the show, Mark Martin and Jack Roush have never won a Winston Cup championship. Steve Meal, the team manager, said, let's go with sticker tires. Those are brand new tires. The right side went off quickly. Mark just has a drink of Gatorade. The left sides are on, no chassis adjustment. 20.7 seconds for Mark Martin.
Jeremy Mayfield making his pit stop. Martin is back out. So now at the current time, Musgrave is just pitted. He'll let Benson out in front, Grissom in second.
It's going to be very close when the leaders go out on the racetrack. You see Mark Martin going out on the back straightaway as we watch Benson go down the front straightaway in the turn one. But going down the back straightaway, the guys that just stopped, Bobby Labonte is now going by Mark Martin down into turn three. Benson taking the lead there in the 30 car, doing a great job today.
Another Pontiac for the lad from Grand Rapids, Michigan, Johnny Benson. Just behind him, Grissom will be in second. Michael Waltrip in third. And we're showing Bobby Labonte running in fourth among the heavy hitters who have been up front today. Here's Benson on pit road. Watch this pit stop for Johnny Benson. Gives it up. Grissom, now the leader. Michael Waltrip for the Wood brothers into second. 4-tire change here.
See him going with the jack there, 2 pumps. Gets the car up, takes on left. You talk about getting with it. 21 seconds there. That's a very good stop.
Bahari Racing Team losing Johnny Benson at the end of the season. So Grissom in the number 41 has a crack at that lead for a moment. Steve Grissom out of Alabama had that terrible wreck in Atlanta, Georgia. Cut the car right in two. And the 43 Hamilton is in. Randy is there.
Well, just a routine stop for Bobby Hamilton, running in 18th place, not having the best day. The King's car isn't, but 4 tires down and away. With a clean windshield, he's gone.
He's away, and we're going to have Michael Waltrip wearing those Wood Brothers colors for a moment, out in the lead. And this swap along pit road, green flag condition. Michael Waltrip has just pitted the 21. Kenny Wallace is also pitted. That's the first lap that Grissom has led in the entire campaign of 97. You see the 41 going all the way around, 4 tires on him. Here's the 21 rolling down pit road. Michael Waltrip getting back into it in the Wood Brothers car. And here is your new leader. That'll be Bobby Labonte.
Yeah, there's a little shake-up there. Bobby Labonte passed Mark Martin, as I told you just a second ago, and the second-place car now is Dale Jarrett. Mark Martin is all the way back to third now.
With Gordon fourth. It looks like Earnhardt fifth and Kyle Petty in sixth. This at lap 232 of 334. A great pit stop by the Joe Gibbs team. And May Car and Company getting it done for Bobby Labonte. And that work on pit road in these green flag conditions makes all the difference. Look at Dale Jarrett down to the inside. He's a streamer right now as he tries to close in on Labonte. Kyle Petty's in sixth. Terry Labonte's in seventh. Jeff Burton's back there in eighth, and Bill Elliott in ninth. Ward Burton is 10th at the moment. The Winston Cup Series in their 28th event of 1997, the UAW-GM 500 here on TBS. 140,000 plus, making it the 4th largest city for an afternoon. A beautiful afternoon. A great afternoon to go to a race. Hello. My goodness.
I bet he'll never put his finger back in that light socket again. Wow.
Watching right now is Bobby Labonte. stays out in front. Had 19 different leaders thus far in this race. As we've rolled down through, 239 laps are now complete. Let's check our numbers of actual drivers. They've switched it around 19 times among 9 folks that have had an opportunity to be in front. Bobby Labonte led early for 96 laps if you're just joining us. Had a major altercation over in turn 2, tore up a bunch of race cars. That was a hard lick. Knocked down Jeff Bodine, knocked down Jimmy Spencer, got collected out there. And right now, this guy who just ran away from the field and had everybody lapped up into the top 10, we still have 15 cars in that lead lap. Correction on that. There may be 1 or 2 out of that.
Yeah, and I'm very, very concerned about Kyle Petty. He closes in on the lead cars. Looks like he has the car to beat. He makes the pit stop. I just wonder if he's having bad pit stops, or maybe the car set up for long runs. Surely the guys in the pits could tell us.
How about it, Randy?
Well, actually, he's been fine just about all day long. Steve Burns and I had that conversation with the Goodyear official earlier today. He told us that some guys can just get what they call a bad set of tires, and that just is that the circumference, the spring rate, the compression of that tire, the way it's made just doesn't seem to match up. And that's what the problem is with Kyle Petty right now. He's a little loose. The tires they bought were absolutely identical to the ones they had on before, but they're just not conducive to going fast right now. Steve Burns?
Hey, Randy, exactly. We just heard Bobby Labonte radio Jimmy Makar and said this set of tires, this set is very loose. Now, as we said earlier, Bobby Labonte is a master at feeling how the tires are sticking or not to the racetrack. So the next set of tires will probably be better. Ken?
So it's not the pit stops. It's getting back up to speed. It's making a difference for Kyle Petty. Getting those tires to work on this 1.5 mile Charlotte Motor Speedway. Time beginning to run out with Labonte still in front. Jarrett second, Martin third, Gordon fourth, Earnhardt fifth, and Kyle 11.5 seconds back in the 6th position. Difference between first and second lies at 1 4/10. Derek Cope unscheduled stop right now on pit road.
You see Earnhardt and the 3 there closing in on Jeff Gordon. Now, he ran out of tires a while ago, making a big charge to the lead and taking the lead. I think he may be a little more conservative as he runs along there with Gordon. And I'm sure that Larry McReynolds is saying, hey, save something for a little later in the run. Don't use them up right now.
Here is Bobby Labonte. That's the 18 car out in front. Earlier, he escaped a scalping. Take a look at this. Here's the wreck from his point of view that was up there in turn 2 when Kevin LePage and Jeff Bodine got in trouble.
You see him sideways there. You can see the flaps on the hood going up to keep the car down, pressed to the racetrack. He slides in turn 2 over there. Very, very lucky he wasn't hit by cars going by. You can see him going by the front of the car there as he sits very still.
Going by on either end, missing him by inches. Flat spot of the tires, fell back to 15th. Now, once again, he's in the lead. Jeff Gordon came into this race today with a 135-point lead over Mark Martin. Right now, Martin's 1 position in front of him, in 3rd, to Gordon's 4th.
You can see Bobby Hamilton go right by Labonte right now. Bobby Labonte is fighting a loose condition. We heard that just a second ago. Bobby Hamilton went by him. That's about the only car that's passed Bobby Labonte all day long. But the Pontiac seem to be working very, very well on long runs.
Be a big day for that mark. Been a while, as we mentioned earlier, since they've tasted victory. Meanwhile, Earnhardt flying just off the rear bumper of Jeff Gordon in the 24. There you see them. That's 4th and 5th. And Kyle trying to close up behind Earnhardt's number 3.
Earnhardt's just a little over 4 seconds back behind the leader of Bobby Labonte right now.
Kenny Schrader's had a good day in the 33 for Andy Petrie. He stays 13th on this field. Number 98 coming in, unscheduled stop there. That car got tasted a little earlier. John Andretti got it up in the wall in turn 4. So John is now running back in 33rd. Again, 4 races to go on the Winston Cup schedule when they conclude this 500 in Charlotte. They're off to Talladega. That date is moved from the end of July up here into the autumn. How to make the conditions a lot more conducive to fan and racer alike down there. Then it's off to Rockingham, North Carolina on the 26th, to Phoenix, Arizona, November the 2nd. And it all concludes for the championship in Atlanta, Georgia on the 16th of November. Alan Bester.
With Buddy Parrott, the crew chief for Jeff Burton, who was leading this race a little bit earlier on in the event. Buddy, you were leading the race earlier. You've fallen back now. What's Jeff saying about the car?
Well, the track's changed quite a bit. We're trying to get a hold of it. We made a big change a while ago, and we're just hoping the thing will come around. We just need something to get caught up. We wasn't real sure that we got the car full on last deal, so I don't know that's going to play into the strategy or not, but the guys are doing a great job in the pits. He's doing a great job coming from 28th today, or 29th, and we're still in the battle. It's a long race in Charlotte, so anything can happen.
So they're hoping for a caution to get caught up, come down pit road, and hoping for a caution before they have to stop short because the fuel tank didn't get quite full on that last green flag stop, Ken.
Jeff Burton just getting around Kyle Petty. So he takes over 6. Kyle falls to 7. Jeff Burton getting some very good help from Frankie Stoddard in that car. Stoddard seems to have made a lot of difference in the makeup of that team to get this thing percolating to where it won again last week in Martinsville, Virginia on the half-mile. That was their first short track win. Well, here's your leader. And let's check that interval. Hey, he may be having trouble, Buddy, but he's just gone to 1 7/10 of a second between first and second, between Labonte and Jarrett.
Well, what happens there? You get caught up in traffic. Some of the guys, like Earnhardt knows, they closed it up there to less than 3 seconds, and they got in traffic, and they fell back to 5 seconds now. So how you catch traffic is everything when you're trying to catch the leader.
Well, there may be more to that story, and after we take this break, we'll check in with Steve Burns on Bobby Labonte's number 18.
Race fans, you make the call. New LCI residential long-distance customers receive 30 minutes of free domestic calling and the World Card Plus calling card featuring participating NASCAR drivers. Don't delay. Call now. 1-888-TEAM-LCI.
So we're at 257 of 334 laps now complete. We've accomplished 385.5 miles. Bobby Labonte back in the captain's chair in this race, leading out here by just a second. It fluctuates. It was up to 1.7. Now it's an even second. Let's check in with Steve Burns as to how that 18's operating.
Hey, Ken, Bobby Labonte is making it look easy, but I'm telling you, he's got his hands full with that number 18 right now. He radioed crew chief Jimmy Makar and said this thing is all over the place as he goes by the 90. And Jimmy Makar said, just hang on, we're going to make our final stop with 45 or 50 laps to go, and that would be about lap 284. Randy?
Well, we documented that Kyle Petty got a mismatch or loose set of tires. Terry Labonte is saying the same thing. His tires are going away. Now, I find it interesting that Buddy Parrott sort of blames it on the racetrack. Of course, Buddy, Jeff Burton's crew chief, talking about the fact that this racetrack has changed. Let's go back upstairs.
We had 16 cars in the lead lap. You can just erase one of them. You saw Dick Trickle in the number 90 going a lap down as the number 18 continues to take no prisoners.
Well, I never argue with crew chief because they're in direct competition. You know, they're talking to their driver. But Bobby Labonte is passing cars on the bottom side of the racetrack in a loose condition. You would normally spin out when you pass cars on the low side. He looks pretty good in the corners to me.
Yeah, I like your line about his helmet. He's wearing that Colts helmet today.
Yeah, he's already used up one of those horseshoes in that slide over there. But when it's your day, it's your day. And he has been very, very lucky. He could have been wiped out in the wreck earlier today.
Yeah, there's that helmet right there. Hope that horseshoe holds on for him. Speaking about football, let's go to Alan Bestwick.
Well, you know, I'm standing down on Jeff Gordon's pit. Many of the racing community around Charlotte are friends with members of the Carolina Panthers NFL team. This is Gerald Williams, defensive lineman for the Panthers. This is Sunday. What are you doing on the racetrack?
Well, this is our bye week, and I wanted to be relaxing, and this is relaxation for me.
Your Panthers are off this weekend. What's your next game and where?
Our next game is in Minnesota against the Vikings, and hopefully we can start out off on a successful month.
All right, Gerald. Appreciate your coming out here, and thank you for being a part of NASCAR racing. Good luck next weekend against Minnesota.
Thank you very much.
Gerald Williams, a Jeff Gordon fan with many of the other Panthers. Matt Elliott, also one of the Panthers, been hanging around. Wesley Walls, the Panthers tight end, was here in Jeff Gordon's pit earlier, all taking advantage of their bye week in the National Football League. Watch some NASCAR racing.
It was 1 7/10 of a second between number 18, Bobby Labonte in first, and Dale Jarrett. It's now down to 0.8 of a second. Dale Jarrett is closing in on that leader.
Look at this, Mark Martin, he's looking in the mirror there. Jeff Gordon's reeled him in from about a full straightaway back. It looks to me that Jeff Gordon has a good race car right at the moment. You're looking back from Mark Martin's car. This is going down into turn 1. You see the shadow there, and then right back into the sunshine. That works on the eyes.
Now, here are the players who still have a chance to pick up a card and try to deal it out here in the last part of this play. Labonte in the 18. Jarrett, Martin, Gordon, Earnhardt, all tucked in there tight together. And an outside chance, certainly with 99, Jeff Burton. Kyle Petty in 7th. Terry Labonte in 8th. You can never discount Terry Labonte if he's in the lead lap.
How would you like to try to catch Jeff Gordon in a points race when you look in the mirror and he's 2 car lengths back there just riding right behind you?
How about Bill Elliott today, still in 9th spot in number 94. Ward Burton staying right up in that lead lap in 10th. Johnny Benson having a very good day, currently in 11th. Can't believe that Bobby Labonte has run that car as hard as he has all day, and that car has stood up. When he took off at the beginning of this race, wasn't anything like it on the racetrack. That was the biggest advantage I think we've seen in Winston Cup racing this season. He just decimated the rest of the field.
Well, he says he's loose right now, but he ain't real shabby, I'll tell you that. He's got a pretty good race car, but what they're talking about when they say loose, they're talking the back end is trying to pass the front. When you start off in the corner, the rear wheels are not hooking up to the racetrack, and it wants to skate. And boy, I tell you, it's a very uncomfortable feeling when it turns sideways in the middle of the corner.
Into the last 100 miles, and what does it feel like in these corners? When you've got a day like this is very much like we remember those warm Memorial days before they went to a night race. When you get down to that last 100 miles, what is this track like?
Ken, you won't believe, the biggest thing you fight is yourself, because you don't want to make a mental error. First off, when you start racing and racing and racing every corner, you're trying to duplicate the perfect lap. All of a sudden, you just have a moment that you kind of lose concentration. All of a sudden, you're in a lane where you hadn't run before. The car starts to slide, and you're in big trouble. The biggest thing is really keying in and running that perfect lap every lap.
And you have to do that all yourself. Look at the 21 up on the high side. Michael Waltrip in those grand old Wood Brothers colors. At number 21, Michael Waltrip had a great day. Up in 15th, out of the 43 starters. And isn't it wonderful to see that car painted in the traditional Wood Brothers colors of Stewart, Virginia?
I want to comment on that again. The difference in a great race car driver and a good race car driver is the amount of concentration that he can put into a race. That is the difference. A lot of people have a great ability. They don't have the ability to reproduce that perfect lap every lap.
That's what makes this sport so unique, and it's part of the subtlety that is so often overlooked. Can't overlook that number 21 right now. Doesn't that bring back memories, buddy?
You know, I'm glad to see the nose of that car and realize it's white. I looked at the back of that thing, but I really never got that shot. David Pearson in 1973 drove that car so very, very great. And I mean, I think he was 14-time pole winner here at Charlotte. I mean, anytime David Pearson crawled through the window of that Mercury, he was a winner, man. I tell you, the Wood Brothers, they were great in the pit. That was a complete race team.
Yeah, take a look at some of that video from the past of some of those great champions. Cale Yarborough, remember the great victory he had with this team of the Wood brothers when he took the checkers in '68 at Daytona 500. A.J. Foyt, 72 at Daytona, and then again at Atlanta, and then David Pearson, as you mentioned, with so many great victories. And that last shot, one of the best, nobody. They were all involved in that maroon, white, and gold. I still think we ought to start a petition or something, write to Glenn and Leonard and the whole gang and say, hey, those are their colors. Keep those Wood Brothers colors up there.
Well, right now,
the sponsor probably has a lot to say about
you can
that.
see Bobby Labonte going by him there. But Dale Jarrett has closed it down to less than a car length as they head into turn 3.
Here's who's out of the race. Bodine, that crash. He's set on the pole. Lake Speed's gone. Engine went away on his car. They've torn up some equipment. Jimmy Spencer's out of this thing. Difference between first and second?
There is no difference. Right there is the leader in the green car. The blue one right behind him is Dale Jarrett. There is no difference. Right now, one slip and you have a 2-car length lead for Dale Jarrett.
Well, this is old-time Winston Cup racing. I mean, it's back to 1-car length. That's a big difference. Most of these races, well, almost 2.
Let me tell you what can happen right now. If Dale Jarrett has been radioed and said that Bobby Labonte has a loose condition, the thing to do is run very, very close on the back of the car and make it get looser yet. So Dale Jarrett, you can see Bobby go up the racetrack. Dale's on the bottom trying to take the lead.
But I don't think he wants to play out there too long with Mark Martin still lying back there, 4 seconds away from the leader, and Jeff Gordon right there with him in 4th. I would think he'd want to dispatch that car if he couldn't get on with the getting on.
Oh boy, here we go. He had to back off at the lap car on the inside there. You can see Dale Jarrett had to hold up just for a second. Got a great run off turn 4 though.
Handling condition on the 18, negative. The 88 trying to get around and closing ever closer. Mark Martin, it was 4.5 seconds. Now it's 4.1 back to 3rd. Situation 275 with 334 laps complete. Brings your mileage factor to 412.5 down.
You can see Jarrett taking a look on the outside. What he's doing now is just worrying him. I think he may have made the move going into turn 3 there.
Got him covered. Into first place once again goes Dale Jarrett. And back comes Bobby Labonte, trying it outside as Joe Gibbs looks on. Watches his driver settle back into 2nd spot. Dale Jarrett is your new leader. Lives right up the road here in Hickory, North Carolina. 3rd in the Winston Cup points. And closing down.
Look at this, the mirror image. You see the 6th car there. 2nd place in the point standings right now. Jeff Gordon, the leader in the national point standings, making a move on Martin as they start off the corner.
Goes to the bottom. Chevy down low, Ford up high, and it's going to be Gordon this time. Gordon up to 3rd. What a great scramble if you're just joining us early. We had 15, 20 laps that were just magnificent between this pair. And that for the lead. Dale Jarrett, the 1994 winner of this race, and the 96 600 winner, is back in command. Bobby Labonte finds himself in 2nd. There is 1 pit stop remaining among these leaders. There are 11 cars now in the lead lap as we get ready to decide this 500.
The UAW-GM Quality 500 on TBS is brought to you by Pennzoil Motor Oil. Stop, go, Pennzoil, and by Coca-Cola Classic.
Approximately 75 miles left to run in this one. Dale Jarrett, who comes into this race 222 points out of first place to Jeff Gordon and 87 to Mark Martin. Right now commanding the 38th annual UAW-GM 500.
Here's Dale closing up behind Kenny Wallace in the 81 and the number 22. Now that's one of those Burton boys. And Ward Burton is currently being shown in 6th. Now the reason that he's up, the 99 has pitted just a moment ago. Jeff Burton and also Kyle Petty is pitted. Those are happening a little earlier than we might have anticipated. Ricky Craven's on pit road at the present time. Joe Nemechek, Hut Strickland coming back out as well. Hut involved in that action early. 35 position for him.
Bobby Labonte, or Terry Labonte, just makes the pit stop.
Terry Labonte up on pit road, way up toward the entry. He is being shown in 9th spot as he makes his stop. And they can go home from here. 285 of 334 laps have been completed. Dale Jarrett, after his 14th career win, trying to get a notch up here. Here comes Earnhardt on the pit road. 5th place in the race as he brings number 3 Chevrolet down at 55 miles an hour, ready to make that stop. Mike Hogwood there.
The crew has had 2 great pit stops of 18 seconds or better, but they've been frustrated because it hasn't gained them any position on the track. Richard Childress just gave the team a pep talk and said, make this the best one of the day. You give it everything you've got. This is where we can win the race. They are gone with 4 tires and an adjustment. Their shadows on the track. They're down and away. 18.5. A good stop for Earnhardt. Steve Burns.
And Mike, as you said, this is it, the final stop for these teams. It's up to the pit crews now as Mark Martin slams it into his stall. They're going to go to the right side. They are also going to make a chassis adjustment. The wedge wrench is in. Come around to the left side, a 4-tire change. So far, so good. Now let's go to Alan Bestwick.
Jeff Gordon is in the 3rd place driver. The stop down and away, fairly good, except the rear tire changer fell coming around the back of the car. Cost him about a second in time.
And Dale Jarrett, current leader on pit road. Final pit stop. Randy?
It's going to be a 4-tire stop. Jack Lewis with the front tires. Brad Parrott with the rears. They whip around. The Jack is underneath the car. Mike Ford with that one. Tires going on. Great pit stop. Now let's go to the 18 car.
Randy, Bobby Labonte's in. Bobby said go with the same air pressure in the tires as we started the race with, and they also made a minor track bar adjustment, so the final changes have been made, and now let's see how they play out on the racetrack.
Lap 288 complete. We're showing Jarrett back in front, Labonte the 2nd, Benson in 3rd, yet to pit, followed by Earnhardt, then Gordon, and then Mark Martin, the number 6 in 6th spot, followed by Steve Grissom, who has yet to come on in. Dale Jarrett. Conscientious job by that Quality Care Thunderbird team out here today. Robert Yates and company with Todd Parrott as crew chief. They may have thought this one out just right. Here's Kyle Petty. Let's go a lap down, buddy.
He's just about to go a lap down, and that's what happens. He had that one bad set of tires, or whatever's wrong right now. He's not able to hold him off at all. You see Dale Jarrett going to the outside there, threading the needle in between the lap car there.
Dale Jarrett, he's just building experience. Was looking forward to a big day yesterday. He was going to be in the 300, the Grand National race, with his son, Ned's grandson, Jason. But Jason didn't make it through that hooligan race, that consolation round. Picked up some experience, however. But don't think with Dale Jarrett you come to the end of the string. More to come from this great racing family in years to come. Dale Jarrett started the day in 5th. He's fallen back at one time to the end of the top 10. Fought his way back in. He has 12 top 10 finishes, including 3 wins in just the last 15 races. So he's really putting a press as we get down to the final 4 after today. Talladega next week, then Rockingham, then Phoenix, and Atlanta.
Jarrett had a great stop there. He was just about 4 car lengths ahead of Bobby Labonte when they stopped, but when he got back on the racetrack, he had about a 15 car length lead, so they had a great last stop there.
Tell you, when he won this race in '94, remember, buddy, came from what, 22nd position to pull this one off. It's not to come that far today, but it looked at the outset as if that 96 was going to have everybody covered. Now, Labonte is in second, and he's being shown as 2 1/10 of a second down to Jarrett. Earnhardt is third, 3 1/10 seconds down, followed by Gordon in fourth, Martin in fifth, and Jeff Burton in sixth. That's where it will be decided. Those are the cars in the lead lap as we come to lap 294. Here's your race summary with 9 leaders, 20 lead changes today, 4 cautions. Off to a great start, record-breaking pace with 40 laps to go right now. That record will not be touched that Ernie Irvin set of over 150 miles an hour in '93. Average speed at 141. We'll take a break and then be back as we zero in on the finale. Can Jarrett stay in front, or will that Pontiac come roaring back as it did in the early going? It's time quickly for the Auto Weekend Racing. The Auto Weekend Racing features the Charlotte Motor Speedway, where they were really tearing it up. Greg Sachs in the 300-mile race yesterday, into the wall. Dick Trickle cuts a tire. He slams the wall. It's Mark Martin and Jimmy Spencer. They fought for 20 laps side by side before it was decided in favor of Jimmy Spencer taking the checkers. Call 1-800-232-1522 now for a 52-week subscription to Auto Week, $24.95. That's 1-800-232-1522.
Brought to you by Gladiator and Universal Luxury Bands, the official bands of tracks, teams, and drivers throughout the NASCAR world. Call 1-800-445-2825 for a dealer near you.
301 of 334 laps complete. Last chance to let it all hang out, and the guy that's doing that is Earnhardt. He was turning laps at 171, 172, while leader Jarrett was at 168. Earnhardt turned the wick up, and Earnhardt made the move to get around here. Take a look at this one.
You see Bobby Labonte there coming off the corner. Earnhardt down on the bottom. You can see there he's got a great run down the back straightaway. Very even going into turn 3. Now watch Earnhardt right here getting in the corner. He eases off where he can get back in the throttle. That's the move you have to do. If you override the car there, he would have pushed up into Bobby Labonte and had to get out of the throttle.
Second place awarded to Earnhardt and closing. And apparently somebody's been on the payphone to Jarrett and said, you better put the spurs to that horse. He's back to 171.8. 171.8 is the time being turned by Dale Earnhardt as well. Separation is 2 2/10 seconds between first and second. Labonte finds himself in third. Gordon has come to fourth. Martin fifth, followed by Jeff Burton sixth. Ward Burton seventh. Bill Elliott eighth. Kyle Petty in ninth. And we point out that that Elliott car is a lap down to the leaders, as is Ward Burton's number 22. Here's Earnhardt. You think he's burning that rubber off or not?
Yeah, he's getting with it pretty good right now. But let me tell you, Earnhardt's got that carrot out in front of him up there. He's turned it up. He's not worried about tires right now. He has to feel great that the car is running this well.
For young Todd Parrott, you heard from his dad a little earlier out here. His father handling that car that won at Martinsville a week ago. Jeff Burton. And Todd Burton having a great run with his driver, Dale Jarrett. Here's the 24. Here's the 24 coming across. And remember, Gordon is in fourth with more information about how he's running. Here's Alan Bestwood.
Well, Ken, Gordon has got about a car length or two on Mark Martin running right behind him. They were side by side for about 3 laps around a little while ago. Gordon has managed to hold off Martin for that spot. What does that mean? Well, if the race finishes the way it is right now, They will come to a draw in points at the end of the day because Martin has led a lap and gets 5 bonus points. Gordon has not. Let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, Todd Parrott up on top of the toolbox will pull him down. Todd, he's gaining on you a little bit. Can you hold him off?
I sure hope so. You know, it's been a long time since Earnhardt won a race, and I know he's hungry for one. He's been running really strong the last couple of weeks. Just hope he's got a little something saved up out there in that Ford Quality Care car.
Okay, everybody's hearts are with Earnhardt, but Todd would certainly like to see his driver go to victory lane. Mike Hogwood.
We're here with Larry McReynolds. Larry, has Dale got anything for him? Can he catch him?
I don't know. Dale's awfully strong in the 88 car, and I think a lot's going to depend on these last 25 laps where he catches lap traffic and where we catch it. Cars is pretty strung out right now, and of course a caution could throw all that out of the equation, and we'd have a new race. But we just have to see what happens. But man, I got to thank Bob Riley, you know, who worked hard on his car, and the guys back at the shop. And we just keep getting better every week.
Well, they're better today, and now this crew can only hope that their driver can somehow catch that 88.
Can Earnhardt do it, or will it be his 3rd straight second-place finish and leave the question of when he will win that race again at number 55 at Talladega, Alabama? Here's the 88. That's Dale Jarrett, your first-place car, and here's Earnhardt chugging away in second spot, 1 6/10 of a second back.
You could see Earnhardt's hands there coming out of turn 4, really going that steering wheel, trying to get it to stick well just behind him, Bobby Labonte. You see Rusty move out of the way there. He's out of contention. He moved over for his friend Earnhardt, but look at the green car of Bobby Labonte. He's moving in also again.
309 of 334 laps have now been completed. That gets us down to just 25 laps to go. And that's usually Earnhardt time. Here's what he has to say about those final moments if you're in second place.
Well, I pity the guys in front of me the last lap if I can get close to him.
The old smile is back. And he's there.
Well, I tell you, he's been out in the winner's circle for quite a while, something Dale Earnhardt is certainly not used to. And he would drive it down in the corner so hard that, you know, he wants to win right now, but I know Earnhardt well enough. He wouldn't wreck anybody, but he would put a slide job on him if he had to.
Jarrett, Earnhardt, Labonte, Marlin, front 4, Gordon 5th. Earnhardt eats a 10th off that Jarrett lead. And Bobby Labonte is staying right with him. There you see Bobby Labonte. Todd Bodine set on the pole of a 184 for this race. Led the first 9 laps, the next 96 laps. It was this car, the number 18. Looked like he was just going to mow the field down. Had just about everybody left. Then, big wreck in turn number 2. Tore up a bunch of cars, and Bobby Labonte was the luckiest man here as he went sideways, sliding through it. Check that interval. That's back to Bobby Labonte. Here's Earnhardt, now shown as 1 5/10. He picks up another 10th on Jarrett.
You see Jarrett there. He's trying to get under Ted Musgrave going into turn 3. Musgrave gives him plenty of room, goes way up. Jarrett right on the white line. That's a familiar sight. That car really works well on the bottom part of the racetrack. There's Earnhardt, the black car you see leading that group right there, going down into the corner. He's giving it everything he has. If he don't run out of time and tires, he's going to be tough.
Dale Jarrett faltered Martinsville last Monday, having just a fantastic run after qualifying 5th today. Moments ago, that number 3 car. Whoa!
He got into Marlin there. That's Sterling Marlin. As they come off the corner, they made contact there.
Not much question about that. Still not ready to give it up. Still chasing that number 88, but here comes Bobby Labonte back in to make that Pontiac another factor in the race as we get down to the conclusion.
Well, Ken, that's what happened. He ran it very hard as he could, and you can see right now that Bobby Labonte has called Earnhardt. And the reason for that, I'm sure that Earnhardt runs so very hard trying to close in. He's used his tires up quite a bit. Now, if he can cool them back down and start running a good line around here to protect those tires, he could be good.
Mike Hogwood can tell us more about that 3 car.
Well, you just saw when he hit Sterling Marlin. Dale Earnhardt is upset about lap traffic not getting out of his way. He's asked the spotter to tell him when he comes up on a lap car to tell him to move out of the way. When he hits Sterling Marlin, now he has reported that there is a slight vibration in the car. It is not running as well as it was a couple laps ago.
No, indeed. Back to 2 seconds between first and second, and a challenger for Earnhardt in second spot, Bobby Labonte. We'll take a quick commercial break and then stay with it to the finish unless there is a caution. 88. Dale Jarrett storming around the 1.5 mile Charlotte Motor Speedway. Headed for that hollow territory, perhaps. NASCAR and TBS go back to Japan for the 2nd straight year. See some of the best of Winston Cup battle it out in the Suzuka Special 100 live on TBS Saturday, November the 23rd at 10 p.m. Watch Rusty Wallace attempt to defend his 1996 win at Suzuka on TBS in November, Saturday, November 23rd.
Sushi Ken. Oh. Dale Jarrett's running a very, very good line around the racetrack there. You can see right now Earnhardt is really battling with Bobby Labonte down the front straightaway.
And I think he has worn out those tires. It's now 2 8/10 of a second as Jarrett continues to stay there in front and draw a bead on that checkered flag. Bobby Labonte climbing up on the back of Earnhardt. Martin has moved around. Jeff Gordon taken over in 4th. Gordon has fallen to 5th. Jeff Burton is in 6th. Ward Burton is in 7th. And Bill Elliott is in 8th with Kyle Petty now showing 9th. 10 to go. 10 laps remaining for Dale Jarrett. Alan Bestwick on that Jeff Gordon car.
Well, Ken, a minute ago we did an update on the championship picture when Jeff was holding off Mark Martin for the 4th position. Mark has since gone by Jeff and left him. Ray Evernham, I talked to him and said, what's wrong with Jeff's car? He threw his hands up and said, we just haven't been able to get it the way we wanted, and now it's kind of coming back to haunt us. At the end of the race, if it finishes like it is now, with Mark having led and Jeff not having led, that pass by Mark on Jeff for the 4th position will be worth 10 points instead of 5.
And they're really counting those points as we watch this battle for 2nd place here. There you see Earnhardt trying to fight off Bobby Labonte another time.
Just a lap back, Bobby Labonte got all the way up to the door on Earnhardt coming out turn 4. He seems to be getting through 3 and 4 just as well as Earnhardt has good drive off the corner. You can see him trying to close in. Earnhardt, when they start off, he closes in just a little bit right in this part of the racetrack.
And Dale Jarrett out in front seems to have him covered. Look at Bobby Labonte going to the outside as we check the points as of now.
Ow.
Around the outside. Bobby Labonte for 2nd spot. Earnhardt back on the bottom.
Boy, that's hero material when you pass Dale Earnhardt on the outside going in the corner.
Back straightaway. Headed for 3. Bobby Labonte hangs it high. Here comes Waltrip right back on the inside.
Earnhardt is fighting very, very hard here. The two of them look like they're glued together. Earnhardt's not giving up at all here.
Tires may be gone, but the heart isn't. Still even across. Jarrett stays in front, builds on his lead. He has said momentum is a big factor in this Winston Cup Series. We've got to take it and use it to our advantage. The question is this the momentum he needs as they go into those last 4 races to make Jarrett a contender for that national championship this year? Meanwhile, we follow this battle for 2nd place. Earnhardt hanging on, falling to 3rd. Here's the 3-car crew just looking on. Nothing they can do now but offer their prayers and cross their fingers.
You can see Earnhardt there. He's trying everything he can, but he went down in the corner. The car slipped out in the center part of the corner. You can see Bobby Labonte put about 4 car lengths on him in that one corner there.
3:30 complete this time by. Final 4 laps coming up for Dale Jarrett. And you always talk about all the sounds you hear, all the worries you have. But I got to tell you, for Dale Jarrett, Todd Parrott, Robert Yates, and that whole crowd, it all becomes reality now. They've got the lead. They're continuing to build on it by over 4 seconds.
See Mark Martin there in the 6 car. He's running very, very well. He's ahead of Jeff Gordon. That's the one thing he wanted to do, is pick up points and try to close that gap on Jeff Gordon.
And you see the Ward Burton car there. It's down the lap with Bill Elliott. 4th place is Mark Martin, the 94 winner of this 500. He gave it a great shot today. Gave us a great race yesterday with Jimmy Spencer in that Grand National competition. It's been a tremendous weekend here. The Saturday race just spectacular. And today, it's been a surprise about every 100 miles. We thought we had it covered with the effort of Bobby Labonte in that Pontiac. And all of a sudden, this car, number 88, has proven to be the car to beat.
With 3 laps to go, I know that there's one person, this man's dad. I guarantee you has to be the proudest guy in the world, Ned Jarrett, one of the best. He's watched his son start out on short tracks at Hickory, move in, win major races. Dale Jarrett is a complete race car driver now. Good patience. He understands how to work on the car. He has a crew chief he thinks so much of. What a team.
Saw him give a wave to Jeff Green as Green gave ground and let him through. Labonte and Earnhardt second and third. Martin is in 4th. Gordon is in 5th as we get down to the end of this one. And we've seen him go right to here, and then something goes poof, and the whole thing goes away. That's not what Dale Jarrett wants right now. That's exactly what Bobby Labonte in the 18 is looking for, and Earnhardt in the 3. Hasn't Earnhardt given a great accounting for himself today, buddy?
He certainly has. He has the heart. Sooner or later, they're going to hook it up. This race car is good. We're in the final lap, Ken.
White flag is down. Dale Jarrett making that final lap around the 1.5 miles of the Charlotte Motor Speedway in the UAW-GM 500. Down he comes off turn 4. Dale Jarrett's 6th win of the year, 14th of his career, is decided this afternoon. He led 5 times, 85 laps, including that final 58 in a row. Dale Jarrett pulls it off. Yes, indeed, he did it. Spotters up on the roof, crowd up on their feet to congratulate a local driver from just up the road. Dale Jarrett of Hickory, North Carolina, has won the 38th annual UAW-GM 500. And Randy's down there with the crew chief right now.
Guys, you have to be elated. Todd Parrott, congratulations. Dale Jarrett's 6th win of the season.
What can I say? You know, just a great job by this whole race team. They've done a super job all weekend. We never give up, and you know, we've got a race car driver like Dale Jarrett, and I guess the good Lord was with us today. You know, we had a good race car. You know, it was off just a little bit, and with 2 pit stops left, the dropped the jack and the left front spring rubber was laying on pit road, and from there on the car was perfect. So just one of those days.
Sometimes you got to be good, sometimes you got to be good and lucky. They were both today.
Plastic Coat, the official spray paint of NASCAR, proud to sponsor the Winning Finish Award, presented to Todd Parrott. Plastic Coat presents $3,000 to the crew chief of the highest finishing Winston Cup team participating in Plastic Coat's award program. At the end of the year, the crew chief with the best average finish will be receiving $50,000. Congratulations today to Todd Parrott and that great crew. Take a look at the top 10 as we go to break, and then we'll meet the winner, Jarrett, in victory lane at Charlotte Motor Speedway, defeating Bobby Labonte, Dale Earnhardt, Mark Martin, Jeff Gordon, Burton, Elliott, Ward Burton, Kyle Petty, and Johnny Benson. Back with you live at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and let's head for the Purolator Winner's Circle with Steve Burns and your winner, Dale Jarrett.
And Dale Jarrett's 6th win of 1997, the 2nd time he's won the October race here. Dale, how'd you guys do it?
Just a great race car. We made some changes this morning. Todd Parrott and I sat last night in my motorhome for quite a while. Debbie's sorry he was late getting home for supper. It did pay off, though. But just an awesome car. I want to say hello to my Uncle Jim, who's in the hospital, not doing too well. Jim, hope you get better soon. We're thinking about you, bud. Thank God for a safe race. Just thank God for the talents that he's given these guys that I work with week in and week out. And I want to say hello to Kelly and Zachary and Natalie and Carson. Natalie and Carson were in a gymnastics meet today. Hope y'all did as well as I did.
Dale, you grew up right up the road. How special is it to win at Charlotte? These races are all so big. How about here at Charlotte?
Yeah, all of them are big, but here at Charlotte's really special. You know, I grew up around here. Got a lot of fans here, a lot of family here. This is just a class place to come race, and I think that makes it even more special. And it's a difficult racetrack to get around. These guys give me cars like this, it makes it easier.
Congratulations, a great team effort. Let's go to Alan Bestwick.
All right, we're with the runner-up in the race, Bobby Labonte. Bobby came back from a spin earlier in the race and an amazing recovery to second spot. First, tell me about the spin. What happened?
Well, I knew there was a wreck there, but I didn't realize there was a lot of oil down there, and a couple guys got wrecked in the oil really in front of me, and I was trying to keep cars behind me a lap down and just wanted to make sure I had to race. I really wasn't even looking, and saw the oil and the guys wrecked in front of me, so I had to lock it up and just turned right and held my breath and put my head down and just hope for the best. And it stopped and took off. Had a couple flat tires and really didn't hurt the car at all. Just kind of one of those deals.
Did it take you too long to get back through the traffic to have a shot at winning?
No, I mean, we just took our time, and you know, the car was really pretty good all day, and we just, you know, ended up right there at the end. You know, the only time we showed loose all day was the last set of tires, and you know, the time before that we always showed a little bit of buildup on the right front, and you know, that's just a gamble you got to take.
All right, Bobby, great run back up through the pack for second spot. Let's go back upstairs.
Second win, 500. Happy father there, Ned Jarrett. Been such an influence on this man, and his mother, Martha. They've got to be pleased with the performance of their son today. Robert Yates has won 3 of the last 8 500 events. 3 different drivers. The great Davey Allison in 1990, Ernie Irvin in 1993. And Jarrett does it in 97 today. And we'll wrap things up when we return.
The UAW-GM Quality 500 on TBS has been brought to you by Miller Lite, who reminds you that anything can happen at Miller time. By the motor oil that provides maximum protection, Castrol GTX, drive hard. By Econo-Lodge, spend a night, not a fortune, at Econo-Lodge. By Goodyear, need tires? Call 1-800-GOODYEAR. And by Team Monte Carlo, Chevy, the cars more champions trust.
Just have them hold it. Back with you live as we take a final look at the standings today as Dale Jarrett wins here at an average speed of 144.3 miles an hour.
20 lead changes today among 9 drivers.
4 cautions for 33 laps as Jarrett wins his 6th of the season as we review the field out here after this tremendous race. We'd like to say a special hello to a member of our World Sports Group from its inception, not with us today, but is missed, and hope he's feeling better, John Leonard, out in California. Well, there you see them. Greatest racing stars you can see anywhere. They're off to Talladega next week, and then they conclude their season with runs at Rockingham and Phoenix, Arizona, and Atlanta, Georgia. Great racing every time that the Winston Cup gets together to put on the best of competition to be found. Take a look at the points, buddy.
You see Jeff Gordon there holding on to the lead. Mark Martin only 125 points back. Dale Jarrett only 197 points back. He's not out of it yet.
Tie right there, Burton and Jarrett, as they try to close ground, and Jarrett made a big move. Phoenix, November 1st, Goodwrench Delco Battery 300. Join us Saturday, November 1, for the Battle in the Desert as the Craftsman Truck Series heads to Phoenix for the Goodwrench Delco Battery 300. Live at 3:35 p.m. That's right here on TBS. And coming up next on TBS, it's the WCW Pro Wrestling taking on the New World Order here on the Superstation. That's it for today, folks. For Steve Burns, Alan Bestwick, Randy Pemberton, and Mike Hogwood, and Buddy Baker, the 67 winner of this event, I'm Ken Squire. Congratulations to Dale Jarrett. Don't feel any pressure, he says, being the son of a racing champion. I just look at things as they are, and I do my best. What a great job he did today.